Yeah, I am. I've got it on my phone right here below my computer. It's Brian, the Bro Builder, and you're watching AO Mecha Live.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AO Mecha Live. Tonight we have a feature builder episode starring Brian Dencklau, aka Bro Builder, and man, what a treat! So when I saw his work, this must have been at least a couple of months now when I started AO Mecha, and he's like one of the first few followers that I saw because his work, the spider one, which is on the image that you guys saw on the promo, placed at GBWC last year, and that was really fun. And that was the first exposure I had. Lots of details, lots of cool stuff on it. And talking to him a little bit further the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, and online and all that stuff, it's been a real pleasure to just see his work, especially all the custom stuff that he's working on as well. What else can I talk about? Oh yeah, we are both also partnered with USA Gundam Store, so we are part of USA Gundam Store build team, and he has also his live shows going on in the YouTube land. So all of that description is all that links in the description below. But before we get into lots and lots of details, more about what am I talking about him? Why don't we go introduce Brian to the show and see what he's saying? Hey Brian, how's it going?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey, everybody. My name is Brian Dencklau, and you know that.
and everybody now knows that. Yeah. But for those of the people, obviously that don't know you yet or are curious about more about you, maybe you could give us a little bit of your background, maybe some work history, and some of your earlier works, and how you started with the scale models.
Got you. Okay. So. I'm from the Midwest. I grew up in the 80s, and I started building with like Lego and models at a very early age. So I started building with Lego at like 6 or 7, and I started building models at right around the same time too. So in like 1986 was when I built my first model.
Oh wow!
Which just back then it was just airplanes and stuff, right? So started then, just kind of carried on doing different things and producing like small painted like stock cars and monster trucks and fighter planes and all the little stuff that kids love, and I mean even adults too for that matter. Who am I to judge?
Right on.
I still build them. I still build them.
They still build them? Like, okay,
right?
so you started off with those kits. Like, at what point did you transition over from like, the traditional real world vehicles to the more sci-fi genre?
So okay. When it came to like building models and the selection of things that I had available to me, where I'm from Iowa, so the selection is incredibly limited. And okay. I did see like Gundam and mecha models here and there as like a teenager essentially, right? But they were just priced out of my range. And my whole my familiarity, I guess I should say, I didn't really know anything about Gundam or some of the things aside from like I grew up on Macross because my cousin influenced me with Macross and like Ranma 1/2 and Ninja High School and stuff like that when I was a kid, like manga and stuff like that. So I was incredibly interested in that and Patlabor and all the things that Shiro had put together, and whatever. Anyhow.
Was that when you guys are watching your anime? I'm glad you do have some anime background, because that's always a nice starting point. Because like you see these things animated, and then you see this physical object, right? And you get a chance to like manipulate and build them, and I think that's kind of fun. And I think that's a lot of us started off with. So when you were watching it, was it on TV at the time, or was it like a VHS copy? Like,
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You just I just go to the store and buy them, or you would like go to the store and order them to have them come in several weeks to try. And you're just on an image in a book. You're literally just like, I heard this might be good. And if you're lucky, you might find them in a comic book shop or something like that. But they're pretty few and far between out there.
Wow.
So I did actually like take a break from building with that kind of stuff. I focused a little bit more on Lego for a little while in my youth, and then there was a period where I didn't build any models or anything like that, but still created art. So I worked on my wood carving and my leather working and my jewelry making and my ceramic skills, and then learned painting and all the drawing and everything like that. I went to school for art for a couple of years, but then it wasn't really the right fit for me. I stepped back and started doing like construction. So I got into doing like house construction and all the stuff that goes into all of that, because it's a lot of that out there.
No way.
And and so I did that, and I did like a ton of things. Like I was a locksmith for a while, like doing stuff with like really small parts, and made pizzas. I don't know, you do a little bit of everything. Right? Just kind of.
You're hailing from Brooklyn now, right?
Yeah. I've been in Brooklyn for 15 years.
Nice.
Just kind of moved out here. Was in a weird spot out there, and out here was so much better. So it was easy. Once I got out here, it was easy to be here.
Right on.
But so when I got when I got out here, because of my background with all of these other things that I've done, I got a job as a metal worker, which is something I'd never done before. So I got into doing that and learning that trade on the job, and did that for 15 years now. And within that was afforded a lot of, because it's artistic metalwork and architectural stuff more so than like structural iron working or anything like that.
Or like decorative metalwork? Is that what more?
A little bit decorative. We do art, we do furniture, we do some big sculptural stuff. We do a lot of like smaller architectural elements like doors and stairwells, or like artistic stairs, things like that, like giant helixical wrapped metal stairs, crazy things. Crazy cool stuff. 4-state metals, you can check them out.
Oh, awesome.
I should have put a link. I will send one to you. You can edit it.
Yeah, we could definitely edit that. All your link is also below. We're gonna get to that, a lot of it. But before we get to the slideshows, lots of cool work that is gonna be coming to you guys. Let's just do a quick hello to everybody in our live session here on Facebook. There's more people coming in through, but like the first persons here are Quinn. He's saying, yo, good vibes today. Digging this track, Ariel. All right, we got some background track. Unfortunately, Bro Builder, because it's streaming on my end, but it's pretty chill.
Cool.
Over at YouTube Live, we got Chris Pavs joining us. Hey, Pavs. Hey. We also have John Yuvienko joining us. Hobby Works by Rani. OU from me and Jacket. What? Regarding Jackie. Read Jackie. What? Okay, cool. I don't know what that means. R13, always building a kit when watching and listening to AO Mecha. Now it's just some vodka. Fantastic. Look at that. It's going to be that kind of fun night for these guys at YouTube land. Why don't we get to it? I'm just going to go bring us to the slides.
Awesome.
Our first couple of slides here, again, from my introduction about you. This was one of the first images that I know of you because of GBWC. And this is now 2019, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So give us a setting.
My second year competing in GBWC. Nice. What I didn't get into was my telling was a really long diatribe about the things that I've done in the past, and I'm sorry. But eventually, after doing the metalworking for so long, I got bored, and I decided I wanted to make model things again. So I started doing big stuff, and then I worked into small stuff, and here I am making robot mecha, which is awesome. So competing in GBWC in 2018, I learned a ton of stuff just by being there. I recommend that anybody does it regardless of what you think your skill level is. I suggest that you go and just participate, put something in, and go and be a part of it. Talk to other modelers, talk to other builders, and check out the vibe, because once it happens again, it's such a cool experience to do, and you learn so much just by being there around all these really cool people.
Absolutely.
So I can't recommend that enough. But yeah, so the next year, I started off of like a big spin. So off of the 2018, I was super duper enthused, and I started just like making something for the original mecha contest, which is another thing that I should link to. That is a competition that is hosted by Cam. It's set up on Facebook. You can check it out. There's a Facebook group you can join if you'd like. There's also videos on YouTube, but it's just basically a original mecha type of thing that you want to build that doesn't have doesn't look like anything specifically, and it doesn't have a pilot where the only things that was the idea behind it. What I had at my disposal was a multitude and a plethora of Gundam parts. So I made it out of Gundam parts and like random things that I put together, like scoops from like protein shakes and like weird like different things. So basically put it all together to Bandai parts, and when it was all said and done, I was like, well, I could put this in GBWC as well, because it's all made out of Gundam, except except for like very, very little, which is okay. That's all within the rules. So I put it in GBWC as well, and I won OMC last year with it, and then I improved it and built on it some more, and then entered it into GBWC, and then won GBWC, the regional New York City.
Regional ones, right? So for those folks who don't know what GBWC is, it's an acronym for Gunpla Builders World Cup. This is an international event. Originally, for Canada, from Toronto, Canada, it started for us in 2017, but it's been around for several years prior to that. The first stage of their North America expanse was actually in the States, and it was hosted, I believe, in New York, one of the conventions there, as well as online, because Andrew from Side 6, one of my friends here, and one of the admins there, placed, I believe, he placed on the online competition 2016. So you guys probably started a year or two before we did. So, but you only started in 2018 and then 2019 for the GBW.
Yeah.
When you were at the local GBWC, I'm assuming this was in the convention center still, or was it held somewhere else?
Yeah, it was in Javits. It was for it was at Comic-Con the year. Well, no, actually that was the first year prior, and then it was at Anime NYC as well. That's right. So yeah, it was at Anime NYC back to back, 2018 and 2019.
Awesome. And now that we're looking at some of your images, I've been flipping through it. That you mentioned before that you were using some plastic, you were using a whole bunch of stuff. Like
I was using stuff that I made, like my own resin, custom stuff that I've modified, robot Bandai parts, and then molded them, and then made, and then it'll all fold out in the end. Please just stay tuned. It's a wonderful journey.
Awesome. We're flipping through the rest of it, obviously, with this one. What kind of, I guess, when you were starting off with this, you mentioned that like you were entering this for the OMC Original Mecha competition. What were your thoughts and your concept? Like, where did you derive? Obviously, it's a spider, but like, was this the original form, or was it there iterations before that?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't originally going to be the bug, like the insectoid. Like it's called the flea. So I mean, it's like, I think it's kind of like a flea. It doesn't really look like, I don't know. Look, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where it originally was going to be was a two-headed dragon. And that's where the two pods on the back that come up, they were originally spun around and flipped over like this with longer necks, and they came up with like these two heads on this dragon body. So I'd done all of this work and put this whole thing together and had it sitting on my bench, and then with art and whatever, I've always learned to, like, if you're doing a painting or a drawing and you're confused about where you want to go with it, look at it in a mirror or something like that.
Right, to get that different perspective for
exactly to like give you the opportunity to look at something that you weren't like normally just focusing on. So I spun the model around and it sat on my bench for a couple weeks, and I just was sitting here and just like I really like that. Like, let's do that. So I did that, and modified a ton of stuff. When you're showing, so here, like this is the Canopy Cockpit. The canopy itself is a Kotobukiya part. And I got a lot of flack for that.
I was gonna say, because like that resonated not just in one community, it was everywhere. I was seeing the post in Asia, I was seeing the post in Canada, obviously, because like we follow it like religiously as well. But you know what? Seeing past that, it kind of completed the whole concept anyways, right? So any
Kotobukiya, anything that went into it was that like thing just right on the front.
Right.
Like, that thing is the kit is full of, I think I used parts from, I've calculated it out, it's like 20 different Bandai kits have been parts.
Oh my god. Were they mainly high grades? Because like, are they master grades in style?
Man, it's everything. There's mega size parts in there. There's master grade parts in there. There's a bunch of IBO 1/100 scale stuff in there. There's a set of Kamaris legs in there. There's some Barbatos arms in there. There's some stuff from the master grade Turn X.
Oh my god, you sacrifice a Turn X? Jeez.
No, just the extra stuff. It's cool. Like, there is let's see, there's some Star Wars stuff in there. And just like a bunch of stuff. There's some Macross stuff in there from Bandai's Macross line. Just a bunch of kit bash, and then obviously you saw in there I built a bunch of pistons and stuff like that. So for these hoses, I use the Green Stuff Works, I got them right here, roll maker, and they are I'll just pull out the cards so I don't see the whole thing.
Nice.
So this is the Rollmaker XL, right?
Oh, cool. The green stuff. Yeah.
Green Stuff World. Super handy. Get the XL because the small stuff it's a little too small for
what's their dry time or workaround time like for these
I
guys?
Don't use Green Stuff Works. I use Epoxy Sculpt, which is used by some other modelers. I got into it back when I was making large scale models, like 1-to-1 scale stuff.
Oh wow.
So for doing like the main base sculpt when you're trying to create crazy forms and surfaces and stuff like that, it's a good filler and it's really strong. You can machine it, you can drill and tap it if you want to put a machine screw into something. It's wonderful stuff.
Nice. You also did some. I'm looking right now. These 3 pieces on the screen, are these casted or are these like
those
put
are all
together?
scratch built? They're all scratch built, individually customized. And then if you look, I think later in one of the pictures you'll see one painted within the thing. They painted in decaled to be these little pistons with regulators and control dials and stuff on them.
Oh yeah, there was a detail, and we're gonna get to that cockpit area as well. Lots of. I saw also a fire extinguisher at some point there.
Yeah, there is. I think up in the back on the pods on the back. Yeah, because they're like the ammo pods that feed the belts for the big chain guns that are on the arms.
Need to cool it down.
Yeah, just in case, fire control. You got to think about all the things. The model itself was originally intended to be a 1:20 scale model, and I got a couple little 1:20 scale figures, little girly figs or whatever, military girls or whatever. I was gonna put with their like looking at like instruction manuals or like whatever.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I know. I ran out of freaking time, right? So I started this thing in February, and I fully finished it in the beginning of November.
Wow,
so,
that's like what, 8 months, 6 months?
Yeah, and I did a couple of things in there. Like I finished a Mara side that you'll see in the pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, like these pictures look so good. The primed ones, they look so amazing.
Yeah,
I'm really like.
Once you start priming stuff, and that's I think what's common with every builder is like once you see it primed, you're like, and you step back, you're like, yep, it's gonna look hot. But now we gotta go to now the next stage of the work is gonna happen, right? We're gonna have to put in the base coat. We're gonna start putting details in, finishing whatnot. But looking at these, looking at these photos, really amazing stuff here. So obviously it evolved from the 2-headed thing to the spider. The base itself, you said you were gonna add some more stuff, but like, aside from the figures, was it originally intended to be just a flat kind of like deserty place?
Just a rocky base, yeah. It was just like rocks. I was gonna have like maybe some pile of something for one of the and like some boards or something, and have it open, and one of the girls in there like working on some wires or something, and then the other one like on the ground looking at some instruction manuals. Just kind of like create a dialogue between the two of them and make it more of a set piece. And then as I realized that wasn't going to happen, I just kept it as like a fully functioning, not like a more of a broken down kind of and then adjust the pose and everything. Yeah.
And right now what we have on the image here, we have now the cockpit area, lots of wires, lots of details on this one. Like I'm assuming you're now going in there, hand painting stuff, putting them together. Like, are you using enamel or are you using still acrylic when you were working?
That's all
with
acrylic.
Oh wow.
Everything is acrylic.
Nice.
Yeah, and the camouflage pattern, which I'm sure you have or will show some of that stuff, is modeled after a pattern called Flecktarn, which is used in like northern latitudes of Europe, and it is made by putting down color and then placing little dots of masking tape over the colored parts, and then laying more colors, and then putting more dots and laying more colors and putting more dots and blah blah blah, blah, and doing this whole process. And,
over and over to get that multiple layer effect.
Yeah, it's something that I picked up out of an armor magazine, like an armor painting, tank painting magazine. Nice. But they did it to like, they did like a level 1 and I did like a level 15. Level 15. In regards to complexity and the amount of stuff. Like I punched out like more than 7,500 little dots of masking tape on my workbench here with some punches that I made out of brass tube and a hammer, and I drove my wife insane. And
yeah, because we're looking at this right now. There's a bit of a zoomed in area here. Like we finally got that little red tank that I mentioned earlier, and wow, that is a lot of multicolor. Like how many colors would you say you use as a pattern for this?
It is the actual camouflage pattern itself is I think 6 colors.
6 colors. Wow. Okay, and that's repetitive. And look at it's not just locations, also sizes from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's a bunch of different sizes. It's like 1 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, and 4 millimeter. I think are the sizes that I did.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your win on this one. So, how many entries usually was it when this was entered at the local event?
Like how many entries were there? Or
yeah, because I'm just curious. Because how many entries would you say have went to this event that you placed this in?
I want to say there were close to 30 entrants at that one. I think.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, yeah, and again, congratulations on your win here, and it's a really nice kit, especially the additional details at the back that also drew my eye because. Obviously, the base is very neutral in color. Then you have this really kick-ass mech. The flag at the background. How
Yeah,
did
the
you get
standard.
that done? Yeah,
Yeah. That's all scratch built out of like styrene rods and a couple of different parts from like a master grade Astray and high grade unicorn stuff slapped in
Nice.
there. And then I made those standards out of this this material called Fibra. It's a thermoplastic I do have a little strip of it. It's this little thermal, like you can buy it in a sheet. Anyways, you can look it up online. Fibra spelled Thibra, and it is a thermoplastic, like I said, thermoplastic sheet. You can cut it into whatever shape you want. Heat it up with a hair dryer. It's what I like to use, or you can use warm water. But hair dryer, and you can conform it to whatever you want. I actually like imprinted it with heavy denim to give it a fabric look before I formed it into. Yeah, before I formed it into the standard. So.
That's awesome. See, like we're learning some stuff right off the bat, guys. GBWC entry, awesome stuff. Next one here, we're back on your workbench. There's a secondary mech now on this one.
The Regal.
Yeah. So this one, it feels like you're just continuing the theme. I'm assuming these two are kind of like built around the same time.
Yeah. Okay. I started working on the Regal in mid-December of last year, and it went into the resin build-off that finished early in the year, sometime in February. It was a very quick turnaround. I had almost no time to do it. But this model is by Luca Zampriolo, Calamity. You guys may have heard of him as a mecha modeler. Yeah, it's a Calamity kit. It's the Regal Sniper from 2007. I did a bunch of crazy customization on this kit. I added in mega-sized joints and polycaps. So the shoulders and the joints all move. I added in a bunch of extra polycaps too, and brass studding to allow for it to be posable, which is something that these kits normally don't do. I added about 3/4 of an inch to the height of it in doing so by adding these various things to give it like a little wider hips and a better stance so that the legs don't have to be like super splayed out. You can kind of like do something to them.
Does it weight distribute better now that you've extended the leg a little?
Well, yeah, and then I extended the hip, the ankles, and then extended the back. Yeah, so the weight is definitely a little bit more forward. It always wants to fall backwards. I find I've seen people like pose them on like YouTube or wherever.
Right.
So.
No, it looks really cool. And we're looking at some of the details here. Lots of weathering here. What type of do you have a preferred brand when you're working on your rusting and weathering?
That's all chip. That's Rinaldi style, man. That's hairspray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man.
Rinaldi, shout out to you. Michael Rinaldi, former feature builder a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
I've talked a little bit with Mike too, because I've been a big fan. You guys were talking about his books. I got 03 back when it dropped, and I devoured it. It looks destroyed. It's got coffee stains on it and all sorts of crazy stuff.
I'm on my second reading of it right now.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's
like,
the things you go through it over and over.
Yeah,
and then I got 02 like a year ago or more, and that's also really, really good too. It's the fish mech or the fish submarine. It's really cool, really cool.
And what he just mentioned also, that the USA Gundam Store has them as well. They're stocking up with Michael Rinaldi's books, so feel free to check them out, and feel free to use my discount code AOMECHA10 when you visit USA Gundam Store. Continuing on with your build here, now we're looking at the backhind. Again,
so many details.
Yeah, right? I know, so many. How long would you say you would work on? Do you work? Sorry, if I was to ask your workflow, do you start with limbs? Do you start with the core of the body, or just kind of all over the place?
Well, with this model, I'm first thing I painted in regards to armor. Okay, which seems kind of weird, but I wanted to do. It was a test. Basically, it was the easiest part to get a big bunch of space to work out my camouflage pattern that I was going to deal with and see how I wanted to do, because I have a book that I write stuff down. Here you go. And this is actually the book for that one.
Oh, nice. We got more show and tell, guys. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's this book. Sorry. They're all right here.
Right.
Yeah, and so I would like go through and then figure out what colors I like, make little color swatches, and then write everything down so I can figure out what's complementary and what's right, like not. Because like if you're looking at something in the bottle and you paint it, you have to paint it. This leads to something else, which is super cool. I'll get into that later. But I was just like drawing out like what I thought about for like, this is like swirly doodles and this is like spiky shit about what I wanted to do for it. And then later I get into trying to figure out the numbers, trying to figure out the graphics, because I did all the graphics custom for like made my own stencils out of masking tape. Anyhow, to do the pattern.
That's like, this is the most information we got from anyone. Because like, we're just like, oh yeah, I painted it. It was cool. But then this guy's like, so I got sketches, guys.
Of course, yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, it's all process, you know, and you learn that stuff when you're in like in art school or along the way from talking to other people like me or you or whatever.
Absolutely. I draw as well. I thought I was like one of the few ones that also sketches out, because like so my background is architecture and I work interior design, so I work in the architectural field. So that's why I think we could relate with the whole construction part. But when it comes to like getting your ideas down the fastest and the most permanent, solution to that is get something tangible, like right off the bat, is drawing it on a sketchbook. I have gone through a dozen billion different sketchbooks throughout the years, and I'm sure you did too, that has ideas that you could potentially use for future, or you just want to jot it down for your current build. And again, Brian here just kind of reinforces that fact that, like, hey, this is an extra tool that you guys could, it's easy to acquire, very cheap, and like affordable idea maker. It's an idea retaining machine, guys. So that is awesome.
I'll always look back on my old stuff and draw new ideas. I'm like, oh, I see that, and what if I done this, and then redo the thing again, or like even just drawing things over and over, and then I'll get into more of that too.
Nice. Well, let's do a quick hello to everybody that's just joined in. There's a lot more people coming in right now. On Facebook. We have Luis Monette. Hello everyone, first time watching. Welcome, Luis. From Quinn, all here for the Jack of all trades background. Such a creative mix. That's from Quinn here. Whoa, putty that holds a tap. Wild.
That's good
that
stuff.
is crazy. Over at YouTube, lots of stuff happening here as well. We got Julio joining us. What up, fam? And I think I saw him as well at your show the other day. There's a lot of people coming checking out.
Yeah, he's here in Brooklyn with me. So.
Oh, nice. Hey, Julio, welcome to the show.
We hang out.
Oh, nice. Gunpla Ronan is in the house. He's saying what up. And Chandra from the West Coast is saying hello as well. Guys, thank you very much for joining in. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of others just watching. A lot of times, people just come in and tune in and just enjoy the show. So thank you guys for tuning in. Photo we have right now, this one is the size comparison of what it looks like, a high grade Dom.
Master grade Dom.
That's a master grade Dom?
Yeah, so the Regal with the rifle fully standing up, it's about 17 inches tall.
Oh my, I just saw the size now.
Yeah, it's a 1:35 scale model, so it's a real big kit.
Wow.
Yeah, they're real hard to get to. I mean, maybe not so much now. He's becoming more popular, so he doesn't have to do so rare a run. But yeah.
But how many variation of this design have you think have circulated?
Of the Regal? I believe Lucas. He has. Well, he himself has produced a number of them. But in regards to models that he has sold, there's the old OG Regal, which is from like 2000. It's early. I want to say it's like 2006 or something like that, from forever ago.
Yeah.
And then he made another one that was an upgraded version of that, and then the version before this, which was the Hunter, and that one has like a double barrel shotgun. And then he made this version, which has redesigned hips and legs and a different part in the torso, and a sniper rifle, obviously, which is scratch built. And then he's done another thing or two that I think are just still in the works. So,
so more stuff coming from this line, guys. If you guys want to challenge, this one right here looks like a fun one. The next one here, going through the slides here, we have something from big to small. We're looking at an SD Neo Xeon. I got your Neo Xeon here.
Yeah.
Very cute. So this is like the stock right now. What are the stuff that you worked on? Because like I'm seeing now the whips on it. There's a couple of extensions on the fingers, a lot of armor plating.
Yeah, plating, and I totally redesigned the basically the crotch of it to be more akin to what the concept art or like the detail art is for, or has been made for it. And then I obviously extended the shoulder. Up on, you can see the shoulder points up on there, and so what that looks like on the front, and if you can't really tell if you don't know what the actual Neo Xeon is like, it's super duper cut off right on the I'm not gonna grab it right on the right on the front.
It's somewhere really back short. There.
No, it is literally just right there, but it's like a bunch of stuff around it.
Well, we're gonna get to the color one. So the next one here is the color scheme of it. Very vibrant green. I love that. It's just like a quick contrast from from a previous arc. And again, this might not be in the same timeline, but I like.
Yeah,
that you
actually,
do have...
no. I finished this not too long ago. Yeah, okay. This one was finished. It was originally gonna be for the SD build off that they did. Like Sabrina was hosting that online.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right. So that was gonna happen, and that deadline for that was supposedly April 15th.
Right.
So I finished the Regal and then was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Julio was like, yo, let's do the SD thing. So I was like, cool. And we talked to them and they're like, all right, since you guys are going to do it, they gave us an extra month. That got drawn out. Fun all year, apparently. So,
oh man. So the color scheme on this one, like, well, what were your, your inspiration? Like, did you have something in mind to when you were selecting the very nice contrast? It's like green and blue, very,
and then like a white gray.
Yeah.
For like the top of the head and the top of the shoulder pads and like the thrusters and some stuff like that.
Is this still a whip? Because like the next couple of images, it's
actually
bigger,
so
right?
when I got into doing the customization, when I got to have it all set up, I knew that when the final pose was going to be like like that was going to be no legs on the kit. No one would, it would never be outside of the model. It was never going to be separate. So I just took the legs and right into the spare parts bin. And the tanks right in the spare parts bin. I don't even need to worry about those.
Just jam it in there and fill it.
Yeah, it sits on a peg that like is in the waist itself, so that's fine. You know, like and that's all. It's all received in there, so you can see it all composed together with like the Magneto arms out and like all the Xeon opening up with the big cool fingers.
And for your process on this one, is it still the same? You're doing it. I mean, this combination. I'm assuming with either airbrush cans. Do you mix mediums when you're working on project?
I try not to do that so much. Actually, I'll do. If anything, I start with Mr. Surfacer for my. And that's the only real difference. And then everything is almost always acrylic. So, except for the top coat on this was the GX Ultra Gloss from Mr. Nice. It's so nice.
It's also hard to find. The GX is one of well, for us anyways here, it's one of those limited selections, so it's very hard for us to get. And that is the Mr. Color line, Mr. Color GX line.
Yeah. So I have a little drawer of it over here that I stock up on it because you know you're going to use it. And
you never know when it's going to, for us, you never know what's going to come back. So when we see GX on the store, instantly gone. It could be like the weirdest color, neon pink, pearl. The color and it would just be sold out. The guy sold we bought 10 and sold out. Some guy just came and picked it up, and I'm like, I don't know what.
I got a resell. This is going all over that.
It's like the scale model community. This is your crack. This guy with a jacket just like showing up what paint you want. Right?
Exactly, or like finishers. Like if you're in a place where you can't get finishers.
Right.
Awesome. So the decals on this are Delphi decals. They're amazing decals. If you have an application for the ones they have, get them because they are so nice. And then I use some other stuff that I have, like various things I've collected for the decaling. But in regards to the color selection, I was just instructed by my wife that I couldn't paint it like I paint all the other ones, like
the military
like
color,
army colors, no camouflage, no. Because originally I was kind of thinking of doing like a taupe green and like a orange and a brown and like a cream.
That's dope.
Right? That would look really awesome, especially with all the mods and everything I did to it. But no, like it's a little different. So I'm like, I do some bright. Clean. So like I've done everything weathered I'm like, now we're painting clean builds. Clean builds this year was my thought.
Did you appreciate on this one as well, or is it just toning?
Yeah, I appreciate just about everything. So yeah, I actually do different. I don't pre-shade, I pre-highlight, which is going to sound kind of wacky, but I use this paint. My blacks I use Mission Models. Thank you, Mike. I also use a lot of ammo, so I have a lot of MIG acrylics too. I have a very big selection of that. The hobby shop that was like my first like sort of sponsor gave me like great deals, and so I bought a bunch of it. It was wonderful. So I'll use the Mission Black. But what I'll do is I'll prime my kit in a gray. I go black everything, which people are like, what the hell? And then I go different, and I take this stuff, which is by Tim Gore and Createx, and it's Old Bone White. It's an illustrative color, right? They use this for doing like special effects makeups and stuff like that in illustration. It is crazy because the stuff is like a weird transparent, but it blends and fades like so incredibly well. It builds up this beautiful color. You can take a straight black and you can make it purple almost with just fading it with this white. And then what I do is I take that and I bring it up to the white cone that I want in the center to fade out to the edge. That way I get a perfect pre-shade.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But the opposite way. So you start with the dark, and then the highlights is where it's gonna shine, and that's where you can focus your light. That's kind of cool because like you get to control the light, not necessarily the shadow. Because the shadow is easy. You just have to go back and black it out a little bit, just to like push it back up or anything.
It's kind of like if you need to. Yeah, it's like it's like a weird way of doing like a zenithal style.
Zenithal style.
Weird. Yeah, the weird like the light hitting it from a certain spot. But yeah, that's the way that I control all that stuff. And then you can change that too by changing the different color of your base. So it doesn't have to go black. You can go brown. I've done brown before on one of the later models that I have on here, the Zaku with the wings. I did like a brown below that before I like toned up and all that stuff.
Nice.
So there's a lot of variants. Play around, have fun.
And that is an awesome advice for everybody there that's in the community. Just doing a quick checkup here. We have Austin Sit at Facebook Live saying what's up. And over at YouTube, a couple more people have joined us. Miguel has joined us. Chris Scalins here to support
Chris Callens.
Callens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I butchered that.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Bro Builder is in the house. That's cool. Chris Pabs obviously is still here. Still awesome. Hobby Works by Rani and Jan. They're just saying, I want to learn more of pre-highlighting. I find highlighting easier than pre-shading. So, we're gonna do a quick break. We're gonna be back after these messages. We're gonna talk about my community side 6 and more with Brian in a second. So hang out, check us out.
Bye guys.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the stream, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the show so far. I just want to let you guys know about an amazing online community that I'm part of, and it's called Side 6. Here you will find like-minded modelers and hobbyists who enjoy the mecha and gunpla genre. We encourage posting of whips, projects, and tutorials to help each other move forward in our hobby and in our community. We are always open to new members of all skill levels, so come check us out at facebook.com/groups/side6. We also have an Instagram where we feature members' works, and you can find that at instagram.com/side6_mecha. For all new club information, resources, and news, you could check out our website at www.side6.club. All right, let's get back to the show and see what's going on there. Here, Bro Builder. You're tuning in on AO Mecha Live on a fine Saturday night. We were just talking about all his work. Up to now, we're just talking about a nice SD build. Very, very pre-highlighting technique. So, Brian, quick question.
Yeah.
Bro Builder. How did Bro Builder become? How did the name Bro Builder come to light? I'm curious. I'm sure a lot of people are curious here.
So I got into skateboarding back in the late 80s. And I gave it up for most of the 90s and then got back into it with longboards in the 2000s. And then when I came to the city, I fell in with a skateboarding crew, Earthwing Skateboards.
Nice.
And I started doing power slides, like downhill power slides, technical power slides, and that cool, like high speed, like screechy hard wheels and fun stuff. Yeah, there's videos out there of me doing fun stuff. Anyhow, and chugging beers incredibly fast. It's wild.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. So I went out to the skate competition in 2007, at the end of 2007, October, I think it was. Yeah, it was a Slide Fest. And I went out there, and in the open division, I tied for like 8th place, or got 8th place or whatever, which was really awesome. Had a wonderful experience, hung out with so many California guys, so much skater culture that when I came back to the metal shop, I was just bro this, bro that, everything was bro. And so they started calling me Bro Bra, and it was bro, and then the bro stuck. And so that just stuck throughout. And even the skate crew picked up the bro thing, and everybody, all the people, all my friends, everybody calls me bro. So I was like, bro. And when I was originally doing my like my 1-to-1 scale modeling and my big sculptural style stuff,
right,
I did that under like a moniker of BRD Creations, which is really boring. And so as soon as I started building like more models, getting back into like just building and like building a lot, like I'm like bro, but I'm a builder. I'm Bro Builder. So it's like, you know what, man, that's it. I'm Bro Builder. It's good. It works. Everybody already calls me bro, so it's not like I'm gonna be weird if people start calling me bro, because that's it. Fine.
Yeah.
It works too. So
nice. Oh, that's an awesome story. The thing is, like, bro, like, there's a lot of people like have like a really unique backgrounds, but like your name does pop out. Like when I'm looking at stuff, like Bro Builder, yo, this is my bro. He's such a bro. Like when you look at his work, bro, good work. Bro, you build. Bro, sick stuff.
Yeah, bro. It's cool, man.
Speaking of
everybody's
sick stuff,
friends. Let's all be bros. Like, come on. Yeah.
Let's go check out some more. Go on.
I was gonna say I'd rather get along with everybody and like grow together as a community and be like,
be very professional about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of professional, let's go back to the show and tell and continue on. We have here I think it's the Land Roadie, right? It's
Yeah, I did this one after my build for GBWC 2018. So this was a 1-month kit bash that I did, where I took a roadie and a bunch of other stuff. Red Warrior. I used Amazing Red Warrior legs for the arms.
Right.
And Gusian forearms with Zaku hands. Just like, a bunch of crazy stuff, like kit bashing, and the whole idea behind it was to make a crazy fun IBO looking kit bash monstrosity with giant gorilla arms. And then I wanted to candy paint it because I never candy painted. Really good chrome and not really good clear and not really good black. So I just kind of like fudged it and did the best that I could. That's why some of the pictures you'll see the orange looks really metallic and shiny, and sometimes the silver looks pretty shiny. And it was trying to do a pearl white too, so it was candy pearl. So it's candy pearl orange. So candy transparent pearl orange. Does that work? No, not really. But I
And you
tried.
made it work. That's the most
you never
important
know,
part,
right?
right? Next one
Lots
here.
of decals and then oil rendered up. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, aside from like, obviously this is a big lesson learned if you've not done candy coat. Like, what would you say would be the biggest lesson learned that you could tell people ahead of time who's thinking of doing this type of style?
From preliminary surface prep and making sure that your gloss black is like clean. Like,
No
that is
orange
the best.
peeling or anything like that, right?
Make it as flat as you can. I think I did with that one, I painted it matte black and then glossed the matte black with like a ton of layers of gloss and then chromed on top. It was just a mess.
Gotcha. Next up here, we're going back to a little bit more military or like a fighter build. And I'm just gonna scroll through.
The blue
this one is can't see the kit. This is a nice, it's a custom. It's a blue one with a green.
Oh, this is Kotobukiya.
Kotobukiya kit. Okay.
Yeah,
cool,
so this
cool.
is the one that I did right after I did the Roti. So this is actually a chronological order. This is for Zach Aurelius' Kotobukiya contest.
Oh, you did that too. Okay.
Yeah,
I missed. I was at the tail end of that. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I won that. I won that one too, which was pretty cool. I win a lot of competitions. I mean, that's a jerkish thing to say, I know, but it's true. The thing is, I'm competitive, and I try to have fun, and I want people to be competitive too. I don't want to win, but sometimes I do.
No, that's cool. That's a right mindset. I mean, if you're good at what you do, you encourage others by challenging yourself to enter these things. Well,
Yeah, exactly. I don't enter every contest though, also, because that's ridiculous. But this one was fun. I tried to do something that was like I tried to like retrograde the tech. So it was all super high tech with like beam stuff and laser cannons and this and that. So I want to take it and bring it back and de-technological. I can't remember what I said. De-industrialize it or something like that. So I took those demodernize. Thank you. Really. So I made those those dual cannons, which are like a kit bash from something else, and I made some shrouds for those, and I custom built some little ammo cans for that, and made that it's now like dual like assault rifles as opposed to laser blasters, and like I took the dual grenade launchers or rocket launchers or whatever, and like added a big the big shield to the outside, and make the ammo belts with the other ammo packs on the back, and like I made all the hoppers because that's not supposed to have any of that stuff. It's just supposed to be like a bazooka with a clip that goes into it. So. And then all the wires and a big gas tank off the back. You probably saw that in one of the earlier ones. You can see
I'm cycling through back and forth. It's like
just because of all the stuff I'm talking about.
And I want to make sure we capture it. And guys, I should have forewarned you guys. This is a shotgun approach that we're doing to the show because you know what? Sometimes going chronological order can be mundane. And bro here said, you know what? Let's just do it. And I'm like, I am so down. Let's do this.
I can talk about anything that I built. So too much probably.
The back on the back of the calves here, there's a couple of thrusters at the bottom of this one. Was that part of the original kit, or is this all bashed as well?
No. So the stuff that's on the back of the leg. So I stripped a bunch of stuff out of it and cut parts off of the front and tried to make it somewhat of a weird mobile platform. So there's some actually metal parts in here on those thrusters, and then the weird the weird pipes that come out too for like the exhaust pipes. Those are sprues from my casting at the big bags over there, but I have like all of these extra parts from me doing my own personal casting projects. So that was just like me finding some parts that worked and then making that part of the kit to add more diesel punk to it,
and there's a lot of like also rusting, again, similar process of like the salt and hairspray technique for this.
Not salt, just hairspray.
Oh, just hairspray, and then you just kind of rub it out. Okay.
Yeah, but it's all has to do with like laying down the hairspray in a proper technique, and then also laying the paint down, and then removing the paint all the same. So it's a lot of like learning and tech and growing from all that. I've been doing this process for more than a year by this point for doing this one. So
now, when you're chipping away, when the hairspray and all that stuff with the water and the toothbrush, do you tend to change the size of your brush as well, like your toothbrush or your the thing that you're scratching?
I have a bunch of different brushes that I've now have become like my chipping brushes. So it depends on what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go with it, and two, like you're saying, like you need a different brush for the different size thing. So if something is smaller and it needs less chip, you need a different kind of brush to make your chips, or you're going to have things going all over the place. Work slow, take your time.
And get the detail right. And also scaling is important. I think Michael touched base on that last time. Your scale here, again, it's so throwing me off now because like when you showed that 17-inch one against a master grade Dom, and I'm like, oh snap. So what's the height of this kit here, would you say?
That guy, he's about master grade height. It's not too short. It's not too big. It's 8.5 inches tall probably.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Maybe a little taller. I did raise it up a little bit and do some different things because that's just what I do. I had to change the feet and put these big forked fronts with these big pistons on because it was so heavy and I didn't want it to fall over. So like I made these gigantic feet for it to like have it stand up. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Made these you can kind of see, made these weapons platforms on the front, or like ground platforms for troops to climb the ladders on the insides of the legs and then sit in these little crow nests where like stuff.
And then
I bought
like,
all these little army guys. Yeah, I put like a railing in there and everything, and like a death box, like a space where you can shoot through like the front of the leg, and like I have all these little figures that I was gonna put in there, but I just ran out of time.
Time's always against us for some reason. That's crazy.
I'm super ambitious. So,
speaking of ambitious, the next one we have here, more customization. This is now the IBO. From the looks of it, the remake full city.
Oh, the full city.
Right. So here I'm looking at. I was going through earlier on with this, and there's a lot of stuff being modded here and scratch built.
That's a rebake. That's a 100 scale rebake that I turned into a full city.
Yeah. That's what it is. Because like I'm looking at, there's a lot of round parts, and I'm like, wait a minute, but that's not. Oh, very ambitious here.
Yeah. So it's either everything on that kit that I did. I either scratch built it or I modified it by more than 50%.
Yeah.
Everything has been pretty much scratch built or rebuilt completely. So
wow.
And then I molded everything, because why make twice the amount of parts when you can make just some molds? Because molds are pretty easy to make for me. I've been making molds forever. So yeah.
So I have them side by side. How many Gushons did you get?
I just got 2.
Oh really? So one is okay. So one is the full city, which is the conversion. The other one right now, I'm looking at the screen. That is just the regular build.
Yeah, that's the regular
build.
Yeah. So for my conversion, I went through and I modified all the parts. So I modified all the frame and remolded and recast all that shit.
Nice.
I don't know. Sorry about the swearing.
Okay,
cool.
Sorry, Ronan, we were swearing, man. Can you forgive the guy, bro?
But so I extended everything. So the lower legs are extended, the upper legs are extended, the lower arms are extended, the upper arms are extended, the chest is extended out, the rib cage is extended up, new pistons, like new core parts.
Nice.
Yeah, everything's like bigified. Akihiro did. I made it like Akihiro should have. It's supposed to be a big suit. I built the little guy, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, why does this make me feel bad? I don't want to feel bad about these models. So like, let's make it bigger. And I added on, like 5/8, 3/4 of an inch ish, depending on how the posture is. It's kind of heavy.
Right. Yeah.
And then rebuilt all the stuff out. Yeah.
No, it turned out really well. A question for you here for the back part. I know that one most like it's all scratch, but like what are they like flat plates? Are you take them from other parts? Like how did you?
Oh, okay. So for the pods themselves, I took the Rebakes pods, and then I totally lasered them. I did it with a saw, but I just took them and I traced out the height that I wanted everything, because I still wanted to maintain its clamshell.
Right.
Took those and I use this saw all the time, jeweler saw. If you guys don't have one in your modeler, get one. They're not expensive. They cut like so well.
What type of materials can that cut? Because it's a very thin straight. Really?
Yeah, pretty much anything. I cut brass. You cut really slowly, cut steel, but you're gonna break your blade depending on the blade. The blade is where it's all at. So just like a regular harp saw or a jeweler's saw, little guy. This one's a Grobit. It's a really fancy Swiss one. It's like never gonna fail me forever.
Nice.
But so I took one of these and I cut through, broke a bunch of blades, but I cut through and sliced down the sides and then built back out with plow plate and then the same epoxy putty to epoxy sculpt, right? Filled all that stuff out to get the form, trimmed that all back down, cored out the inside because it's thick with stuff at this point, because I know it has to be thin to work as part of a model.
Was there any issue with weight after you put it together? Or?
Not really with those parts per se. It's just more like the fitment of it with the way that it works with existing parts, because it takes the frame of not all of the frame, but most parts of the frame from the rebake, and then uses like the poly caps for the back and the adjusters for the back things, and like uses the sub arms from the rebake, stuff like that.
God, lots of stuff here. Continuing on with that, was this part of a competition?
I did all
or
that
was
in
just
6 months too.
6 months? Jeez, you're a machine,
to do
man.
all of that, and then produce it and then get it into GBWC. I stayed up for 46 of the 48 hours prior to.
This is now 2018 entry.
That was
that
2018 entry. Yeah.
How far did you get with GBWC then? Did you know your score?
I just got my badge and out the door. That was a weird year. There was only one judge in NYC that year, and it was a weird,
you remember this now. Yeah,
it was kind of an odd situation. But the thing about it, and this is what I learned about it, was that I made my thing look exactly like a Bandai model kit. So what they look at that, if they don't know, what they're looking at, they're going to be like, oh, that's a cool Bandai kit that guy snapped together and put in the case.
Yeah.
He carved a neat little base for it.
But it's a unique kit. Like, this is not even built. There's no, you
not
cannot
even realizing
find this kit.
Like, yeah, it's like me staying up until like 2 or 3 in the morning making molds, and then getting up at 6:30 and going to work and working the full day, and then coming home and working until 2 or 3 in the morning every day, and same for
man.
3 or 4 months straight.
Rinse and repeat. Speaking of rinse and repeat, I mean, welcome to GBWC. But the next one here, it's a red kit. This one is the Marasai that you mentioned earlier on.
Custom Sharasai. This one I started building on a live stream, which is just a crazy snap kit, and I polled the community that was watching at the time to figure out how I was going to finish it when I was going to finish it. They said as many decals as possible. So
without saturating it, or this is supposed to look like
without it looking stupid, just like as many decals without it looking like dumb. And because you can just stack it like a NASCAR and it look weird, but I did like a ton of weird decals and just try to be creative with the placement and creative with the customizations, like cutting the shield down and cutting the lower leg parts down and changing the shapes of a few different things. The backpack is insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of pods there, so I see a couple of 2 big ones at the back, a couple of fuel cells at the background here. Where did you take those ones from, or were they from?
So the big pods on the back, on the top, those are modified ammo cans from the Kotobukiya ammo and belt kit, right?
Yeah, the belt kit. Yeah,
super famous one. And then so the pods below it, the 2 middle ones are missiles from the Macross option part set, like the super part set.
Right.
One of my favorite kits. You can get it for about $20 or $25. Buy a bunch of them. They're so good. So good. So many cool
that's a different scale though for the Macross set, right? It's like 140.
Yeah, it's 1 to 72nd.
72nd, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you're scratch building, kit bashing and stuff. You're gonna change it anyways. Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And then the lower ones are actually they're the blasters from the XS, the 100 scale master grade XS.
Nice.
So
I one of my kits for GBWC was the EXS, and that was a beast of a kit too. So wow.
I have one of those in here.
I saw that. We're gonna get to that.
That one's that's next year's.
The next one here we're looking at, it looks like a custom, I want to say Goof or Saku. What is that?
Gyaradoga, probably. Maybe.
No, it's a Zaku. It's a Zaku with like armor plating. This is the one, the knight looking.
Oh, that's the early one. This is the Zaku Pursuer, based on the Dark Souls 2 boss, the Pursuer.
That's where the sword came from. I'm like, that looks familiar.
Scratch built the sword out of the worst plastic plating possible, and the same with the shield. The shield is a scratch built shield as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can see my drawing there on the table right below for got to do your groundwork ahead of time, figure out what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, but this was my first full custom and paint. This was my second painted kit, and it was my 4th built model.
Fourth
built Gundam model since when I started building.
Wow. And what was your first one? Do you remember? Do you remember your first?
The first model was the 00 Master Grade 007 sword. This was the first Gundam kit that I put together.
Forget high grade, just go straight to master grade.
All right, so you'll get into it eventually. Is I was building 1-to-1 scale prop replicas.
That's true.
I was building full-size guns, basically for Borderlands, or like buzz axes and stuff like that from Borderlands.
Nice.
And then resin casting and all this crazy stuff. So
is that for like cosplayers or actual?
Yeah, for cosplayers. I had an Etsy store. It's basically on hold right now because all this crazy stuff's going on. But have an Etsy store and sell kits. I still have all the molds. I actually have one that's still built that's ready to ship, but I just haven't sold it yet.
Okay, so with this, so your first kit was the 00, then obviously this is the 4th iteration of that. Between the first one and the 4th one, what would you say is your top 3 lessons learned that you now have applied to this kit? Like the span between the 4. Right?
Well, so I kind of went like this. I just snap fit and built the 7 sword. Mm-hmm. And I started pan lining just a little bit with micron pens, whatever, just trying to figure that out. And then I built the Stray Red Kai, which was a very interesting kit and many layers. And I pan aligned every part. Like
the Kai has a lot of stuff, man.
Dude, and it's layers and layers and layers. So I'm pan aligning stuff that no one knows about.
Yeah, because they're hidden by the armor, or like they're in a plate somehow.
Far. It's hidden by more layers of detail that never get seen. Like they're so amazing, the amount of layers of detail in that thing. But yeah, so I did that and then started getting into painting details inside the shoulders with like the Gundam markers and like trying to get into that a little bit. And was like, screw this. Airbrush time. Let's get an airbrush. I'm an adult.
Are you though?
I'm old. I'm like 41. So this is like 4 years ago.
Right.
I haven't been building for super long, but
what, 4 years? So you've only been in the
been doing the mecha models. Yeah,
mecha models. Wow.
Yeah, this is my 4th year. Yeah, so I started. First model I built was the 00 in the end of October 2016.
Yeah, because
and then I didn't build
easy.
again until January of 2017. So.
Wow,
yeah, in the year of 2017, I built like 42 models. 9 of them were fully customized, and 7 of those were, 9 of them were fully painted, and 7 were fully customized. So,
wow, you really dove deep. You're like, you know what?
Yeah.
What made you stick, by the way? Like, what drew you and said, I'm gonna stick around with this genre?
Oh, well, it's something that I always wanted to do. Ultimately, like I wanted to build those models that I saw for zillions of dollars. It seemed like at the time,
Right.
up on the shelves, but I could never do it. And it was like I actually had this really huge shop space when I was making props. Right, I have a Roto Casting machine. I make gigantic like mother molds, like fiberglass and silicone, all this crazy stuff. Right, all this wild shit. I had all this space.
Nice.
And then my company that I was working for, that allowed me through my employment to have this space, changed locations, and I lost my space. So I was like, no more big space. I can't do big. I got to do something. Let's go small. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
My friends were like, yo, why don't you try building Gundam? And I was like, all right, I'll try one.
Nice. So from the lessons learned, obviously just dive in there. The airbrush definitely tools is the second one that you mentioned. Now painting, what would you say is like the biggest change when you started to where this Zaku is now?
From when I started painting from where the Zaku was. So the first thing that I actually fully painted was my 3rd kit, which was the Barbatos.
Okay.
And I painted some of that on the runners. That was dumb. Because you have to repaint the parts that you clip off, and it's like, why did I do that? Like, I'm wasting my time basically. And then I learned a bunch through weathering the Barbatos as well.
Nice.
and then just trying to figure out with the Barbatos, learning pre-shading and pre-highlighting actually is what I learned at that time, because I tried pre-shading and I didn't like it because it looks weird and the fade is hard and you can't do it really well. Like it clogs your airbrush if you're using acrylics and the air is really dry in the room and you don't have the thin right with the so
workers dilemma. So we got the Barbados up on the screen, but before we continue on that, I just want to say hey to everybody on YouTube and Facebook Live. Adam is actually saying hi. USA Gundam Store just said what up to us.
What up,
hey, how's it going, Adam? And over here at YouTube, lots of stuff happening as well. I'm just gonna recap back and see where we're at. From Erwin down in Indonesia, he's saying, "Bro, Papa No Gunpla, also feature builder. Past episode a couple of weeks ago. Check him out, guys. Papa No Gunpla,
nice.
Is a really cool guy. Gunpla Ronan, Geo, you made me cry. I think they were just talking about a whole bunch. Oh, Geo builds. I couldn't miss this one. Brian is one of my biggest inspirations. Oh, look at you! Look at this guy.
That was my friend, man. Yeah.
And foreshadowing, Geo might be appearing in the show. I'm just gonna toss it out there. Let's see here, Miguel. Poor Ronan. Oh snap, it's Miguel. So again, lots of I love the community here. Continuing on. Oh, my virgin ears. Yeah, I mean, swearing is not discouraged. It's just I try not to, just because I try to be a professional. That professional.
Hashtag professional.
Right? Brian's signature. Make it taller. There we go. That's from Chris. Pretty much. Make it taller. From Ronan as well. I've never feared any man before, but I ain't messing with Miguel. Oh, Miguel. He's from Toronto too, by the way. So we have to catch up, Miguel. You and I go for drinks or something.
Recommend it. Miguel's nice guy.
Yo, builds
Very
here.
talented.
He made one for GBW get sick in person too. So I did see you on GBWC from Geo there. Continuing.
Oh yeah, Geo was I hung out with Geo all day when I had the Gusian in there. Yeah.
First Fabs, lesson 1, make things taller. Lesson 2, add joints. Okay, that's exactly. Lots of stuff. I'm so glad you guys are having a good time hanging out, chilling. I'm glad you guys are conversing, following along with the show. Speaking of following along, the next one over here we're continuing on with the seed theme here. This is the Buster Gundam.
Oh, cool.
And is it the master grade Buster Gundam?
Yep, master grade Buster. This is all it's all year one. All acrylic. Just doing fun stuff with different kinds of weathering. I weathered with purple and like some rust tones. Doing acrylic washes as opposed to doing like an oil rendering of any kind like that. Try to deal with different things, dealing with complementary, because the whole kit itself is as you know, like cream and orange and green. So to enhance that a little bit, I also did a base of brown below the white to give it more of a brown cream color. Like, and that was the first time I've mixed my own primer up. And the first thing I made turned into cottage cheese, which is awful. I don't know if you ever had that. Mixing alcohol with acrylic is dumb. Don't do it, unless it's made to do it.
So the what I liked about this one, just talking about the base, and I like how you pointed that out, is because also the reflection of it, being that it's like a lighter surface, anything that has color adds hue to the surfaces on that. That's why you give it that nice gradation, because you have your light coming out, nice highlight on the top, but as you go down, the feet and the reflection from your base looks really good going up on that plastic there, or rather the painted area. So cool stuff. Was this for what kit is this now? This is like one of your earlier kits as well?
Yeah, this is all year one. This was the first one that I took down to the hobby shop and entered into a local competition.
Nice.
I made some people sad.
This guy's
MacDio
breaking hearts everywhere he goes.
No, Manny, my friend Manny on the audience, MacDio, like he's competed against me a bunch of times, and it's just like, yeah, that's how I met him, was through competition, through being like friendly competitors and like friends, and that's how you make friends. You know?
Dude, we were just talking about that. I forgot which show it was. No, it's not aired yet. This is a spoiler, guys. We Side 6, myself, Andrew, and Nicholas Tejada Sanchez. That's the Nicholas Tejada Sanchez of the night, by the way. We were interviewed from a podcast show, and I can't say that in reveal until we get that all out. And we were talking about exact same thing that you just mentioned, Brian, about competitions and how you meet people in a competitive way, like a friendly competition. And we've gone to so many locals here. We have a lot in Toronto and surrounding areas or surrounding cities that you tend to see the same person over and over. You compete at the same, genre, and it's kind of cool because, like, for the longest time, I don't know if you feel this way, but it might be different for you. But like for the longest time, I thought I was the only one into this in this genre, and everybody else is in like Japan. You know what I mean? And then you start looking at these communities, especially with social network these days, that it's such an easy way to connect with people, not necessarily just in your local scene, but also nationwide. Like you're, for example, from US, New York. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and we have people watching us from Indonesia, West Coast, etc. So I'd love that the community can grow, not necessarily just from competition, which is one part, but the other part is like the reach of social media these days. So really good stuff. Did you place at all with this kit, by the way?
Yeah.
First okay.
Yeah, I won a kit. Whatever. I took the first prize, whatever it was, but and then actually ended up turning that over. That I believe that kit is in China right now with a guy that owns the shop. He moved back to China, took all of his stuff back over, and just runs this like an internet shop here in the States now.
Got it.
Yeah, that got turned over to him.
So the next one here, the Chimera's Trooper. I love this one, by the way, because like I have several of these because I was gonna use this as a bug project, and I kind of want to pick your brain at some point because like I do have a bug project and maybe toss some of my shit to you. Oh, look at that! Oh crap! Oh! I should have one of those like buttons that goes teet.
Oh, bleep yourself.
Bleep myself. Oh, okay. So that's a scratch on me. But anyways, what's the story with this guy? Let's see a lot of like very toned down. So this is actually a repaint. This is a picture that I had to repaint this model, right? So when I first did this was when I was still trying to figure out the pre-shading versus pre-highlighting, and I hammered this freaking kit. I didn't have to repaint the frame because the frame is fully painted on this. I did like this wonderful thing with like deep purples and blacks and golds and coppers and stuff. I don't think I actually have a picture of it in there. But the frame itself was really, really fun. This is one of those kits where I did it like Nico style, where I took it and I painted it all before I put it together. I didn't even pre-build it. Now normally I'll pre-build everything and then figure out what I want to do. Like I'll take like some of the armor parts off, or if the armor parts are going to stay on, if I have to do it to seamline something, I'll just pop a whole arm off, and then it becomes a masking challenge, which is fine. But yeah, so the repaint of this kit was to like take something that I love, like the Chimera's Trooper itself. It's a fun build, like love quad mechs. Obviously. And then I love the colors of it too, and I wanted to like bring them out a little bit more. So it looked really hammered before, and I really wanted to bring out the grays that I added to it to like bring some of the more tones to it and get the whites right. And that's where it looks really cool. And what I like about this, aside from the quad part, like the alternative, it's very subtle too when it's like not deployed, because like when it's in like that robot mode or like the mech like biped mode, it just hides really nice as well. So that's really cool about the kit. So these are still all 100s, I'm assuming, right? You're still working with like a bigger scale on that one.
Yep.
The next kit over here, this one is like, we're going back to the customs now, and this one is this one is definitely a custom. I can't even make a heads or
Roe?
tail. It's the one with the white and green and
Roe.
yellow.
Yeah, Thunderbolt.
That's-
Thunderball. The Roe Thunderball is what I called it.
Nice.
This is my first kit bash.
Ooh. Well, okay.
Like-
What got you to kit bashing this particular kit then?
I really liked the design of the Roe. It was for a 100 scale thing. I think it was when I joined a group called the MS Royale on Instagram. It was like a group page, a bunch of people so I met my person I streamed with on Thursday, Paul, and subsequently
Nice.
also I met a bunch of other people like Alex and all this other stuff. So Alex to do for now.
Nice.
But yeah, so this was just like me trying to have some fun with some different stuff. I really liked the Roe, and I wanted to do something else to it, so I enhanced it. I wanted to make it faster, so I added a bunch more boosters to it.
Nice.
Some fun little custom tanks up on the upper backpack parts, just a little bit of plot plate here and there, a bunch of, you can see it here on the back skirt, the wire additions that I added for the piping. Those are actually all just bent welding wire, and they're just trying to like work outside the box, play with colors, and like broaden my horizons, as it were.
Nice. And for the color scheme, like why did you select these colors again, or is this just something that's
I
floating
feel
around?
I feel like they work good together. The green, just like a kind of a transparent green, or like semi-transparent with the hunter green color that I used on this. I feel like that mixed with the with two-tone, three-tone grays, and then the yellow pops really, really well with everything, especially like that photo with the two weapons out, like kind of like flying out, the big baseball bat and the rifle.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole thing, like the colors, everything just kind of work together. I was just kind of like what I'm feeling, when as I'm building a kit, I'll get an idea as to where I think the colors are going to kind of go with it, or what I want to do.
Nice. The next couple
Like
is
the Regal was like meant to be like in grass, so it has the grass
feels
and-
to it. The next one, continuing on, this one is the Gyaradoga now. This one is with the
dog fighter.
yeah,
Yeah, so I
dog
kit bashed
fighter.
like a Messerschmitt ME262 and Gyaradoga. This is when I first started trying to do some more expensive scribing, like some more like aesthetically pleasing scribing, as opposed to just like getting the mechanics down. Like the first thing I scribed was that Zaku Pursuer way back in the series of photos. But this one I did some more technical scribing. Things are a little bit more precise. Things are a little more planned out. And then
Speaking
like
of technical, we have a photo here with like some of the inner parts that you were talking about, like detailing the innards of it. There's like copper wires, brass looking stuff on the inside. But eventually this is going to be covered though, right? Like that. Did you think of it?
Some of it is and some of it isn't. Yeah. So the thing is, like with the model itself, the parts of the frame that pop out, I wanted to try, and with this kit specifically, I wanted to try and make it so that it popped out and like really were noticeable. So they made the armor on the outside of the model extremely dark blue and mottled colors, and then make the frame like a painted white frame. So I'm like, everybody paints frames different colors and stuff like that. I was like, why don't we just paint one white? Like how would that look next to this like really cool cobalt blue?
Yeah.
And
the cobalt blue
like,
looked really good, by the way. Turned out well.
Yeah, it ended up matting down quite a bit by the end, which is good, because when it was first like super duper shiny, it was like, oh my god. And there was one that I hit with Future, and just like it was nuts. It was just crazy.
Right,
Mr.
So
Flat.
when you were bashing this, so the plane itself, what scale was it? 172 or
the Messerschmitt is 1 to 32nd. I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turned out really well, like as well, because like the color scheme, once you put that on there, and I'm horrible with airplane colors, but like seeing this and then attached to the back, we'll get to the back of it as well. Like the blue really just popped out, really kind of like made everything whole. Were you originally going for the blue color as a whole for this one, or
I almost wanted to paint it like one of the old Corsairs from like World War II, where it's like a white gray clouds underneath, and then like the dark blues on top.
Right.
But as I was like getting into it and getting to the nitty gritties of it, I was like, we're just gonna two-tone blue it, and like call it a day.
And just say, this is it. This is the blue.
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
We have a back shot now of the wing, and I saw this earlier on, and I just wanted to comment on that as well. What I like about this particular kit is like where the thrusters are. There's that bright metallic, I want to say gold almost looking shine to it. Like that really stood out. And that's what I really love about like kits, when you have like the bell thrusters having that extra oomph to it.
Everything. Paint the bottoms of your feet, guys.
And for a master grade this old, I don't think those were separate pieces, were they? Like were they
No, it's all painted by hand. Yeah.
Okay.
I painted with I use this color by Golden. They make these really wonderful. Sorry if I was super loud. I got close.
Oh,
to the
no.
mic.
Good.
Golden high flow
Okay.
acrylics. This is an iridescent copper. There you go, iridescent copper.
Nice.
And these go so good on top of like a flat black or any black really, but really, really good on matte black. You can brush paint them and get like an incredible shine. Those detail parts that were on the inner frame, all hand painted by stuff.
God, that's a lot of paint to be like the hand detail looks really good. Speaking of lots
really
of
just very meditative, a little tiny brush, get your Artificer 00 and just go really slow.
Oh man. Speaking of slow, this one here really jumping up again back on scale. It looks like it's the Kshatriya.
This is a Kshatra corn. So this is for Zach's Zach Aurelius's he did a unicorn contest when they released the unicorn Gundam or did the full-size 1-to-1 unicorn. He did a unicorn contest. So
right.
I was like, what can I do I was like, I'm not going to do anything. All right, I'm going to do something. What's we going to do? Like, what would be the weirdest thing that I can do? I was like, what if I made a unicorn into a Kshatriya? So I took 2 unicorn full armor unicorns and I kit bashed them into a Kshatra corn. That's what I call it, the Kshatra corn.
Kshatra corn. I gotta remember
so
saying that.
It's a double torso. Double torso to match the doubles. I extended the legs, as you can see. There's a ton of crazy psycho frame here. Hand paint psycho frame. This is a unicorn head kit bashed with a Kshatriya head.
Right.
And then just cleaned up, and it's a little loose, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I got the shop mention or the shop prize from USA Gundam. Which is
awesome. This guy is just breaking hearts everywhere we go. So the next kit here, this is the bigger one. This is the EXS Sentinel. This is the Deep Striker, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. It is a Deep Striker kit bashed with an XS and some other stuff.
It's massive. This guy, go big. Yeah. It should have been bigger.
Dude, I did. I extended a lot of stuff on it too by the end. This is the first one. This is the turkey. We call this the turkey form. Where the first one where it's all like a turkey or like a fluffy kitty.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
Mass of clusters and stuff. But where you see it here in the second photo where it's a little bit pulled back, where I had the barrel shortened on the long rifle, I actually made a different extension for the barrel because that barrel is hardwired on the back of the 303 Deep Striker. So I made it of some different parts out of some Mega Size Zaku stuff and some other things, and I added a polycap into it, of course, because me. And so it rotates and you can pivot it up and down and go all sorts of everywhere with it now on the back of this thing. And now I extended the legs.
Of course, the signature move.
Dude, the XS is like a brick. You know this, right?
It's just
built it, right? It has no posability.
I have it. I don't know if my camera can reach it, but it's definitely up there. And then what's the thing? So once you put it on the base, that's it.
That's it, right? You get nothing, right? So I was like, we got to do something different to this. I ripped out the core. I built a new core on the inside. I made posable torso. So I had to rebuild the entire torso, add joints in there so it's posable. I extended the legs and the knees so that the legs actually bend back a little bit. So you get some detail out of it. You can get some
and you could do the torso twist a little bit more for the gun extension here.
Yep. Yeah, and then I took the beam magnum and I made it a double beam magnum, pared down into a single stock. So it's like the double beam rifle or whatever. Double beam smart gun. That's what it is. Double beam smart gun.
The Alice.
Added in the S Gundam armor on the arms. Added a new other eye field generator to the back of it. Obviously all the boosters.
Yeah.
And then the extra tanks, I made 4 extra fuel tanks for it that fit underneath on the inside and then climb up. Yeah, it's really cool.
Lots of stuff here.
Next year, Sentinel Hunter, you guys will see it at GBWC 2021. So.
Oh wow, there's a preview right here, guys. There we go. We are finishing up the Gundams, I believe. This is the last of the set. There's gonna be a bit more Gundams coming up, but this one is very cute. And that's I don't know if I know other words I want to say to it, but I like this one just because it's so nice. It is it looks like a GM. What is it? The Sniper 1?
Custom,
right?
Yep.
With the yellow and blues. Very, very nice. What's the story with this guy?
So I was contacted by Bluefin to see if I wanted to build something for the Majin to review.
Okay.
And I was like,
sure. Do you even know who he was at the time?
They were like, give me a list of so many kits, and it wasn't just me. There was a few of us that were allowed to do this sort of thing, and so they were like, well, what would you possibly want to build? And I was like, all right, well, here's 4 things, potentially whatever, or variations. And they were like, okay, you will get something in the mail and wait. Just wait.
Okay. And then they send you this guy. Oh, it was that
long?
long?
Waited, and it shows up. Well, a little bit. You know, a couple
okay,
weeks
okay,
worth. It takes time.
Yeah.
So it shows up, and it's the Gym Sniper Custom. They're like, all right, don't touch it. You can't touch it. You can start it when we tell you to start it, but you have to stop 10 days later. You have to do what you can do to it, what you want. You can customize it, but you can't kit bash it. You can't add any metal parts. You can't add any photo etch. You can't do any resin. You can't do any of this and that. You can customize it, but you can't. But do it and then submit it, and then we'll see.
Oh, wow. So, and then you ended up just hacking, just going at it then?
Kind of. I went and I thought about it very methodically. I built the model. I made a cool video that it's in the process of doing. It's gonna be funny as heck. And I got, here we go. Because I can't have enough stuff. Where is it? Sorry, I should have prepped this ahead of time.
All good, all good. I'm just gonna read off everything that I see on our live feeds, by the way. Hello to Luis Monet here. We're gonna get to your question towards the latter part because I think that's a really good question. And then let's see here. Actually, that's a good question. What is the best Gundam character mecha? What is best Gundam character mecha? Or do you have a favorite Gundam mecha? By the way,
I'm a big Zaku fan.
Nice.
Like I'm definitely a Xeon boy, but I'm a really big fan of the Zaku.
Nice.
Here we go. Got it.
Found it. There we go. More paper, guys.
Had to get the Majin project folder out.
There's an actual time. Were you just writing that? You were there with a marker, and you're going like, "I'm gonna pull something, guys," and then you're just writing.
No, literally, this is old. I actually had to it's an older folder that had it, but yeah, I just pulled it out. They all have like here.
Nice.
This is sorry, and then list. I'm a big list guy. Make lists.
Oh, dude, I'm the exact same thing, man. Yeah.
This one is the Hunter, right? So this is the Sentinel Hunter. So they all have like little names and stuff like that. I was like, don't give me anyhow. But no, I started with this is just on vellum.
Nice.
Just a basic drawing of the piece, and I have a light board.
Oh,
just
okay. And you just trace on top of that, and then
plugs into USB, and then you can just do tracing. So I do layers, and I made several different versions of it, coming up to this version right here.
Okay.
Which is me just highlighting the armor parts that I want to do. So I'm going through and I do the thing, and I do a color sketch. I can just show you those, guys. It's totally cool. Yeah, I just start with different color sketch. Maybe like that. Maybe like... Yeah.
Will you ever do posts of your art and manual stuff, like drawing and sketching on your Insta? Because I think that would be nice to see, man.
I have some stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't really I need to start, it's so much work, but I need to put together books, really. Is what it boils down to. Either ebooks or whatever.
Yeah.
But then so I come up with my final design, and then I make a couple copies of that, and then I color that in.
Is that with marker? What other
color
Prisma?
pencil. This is color pencil.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So this is just shaded in with color pencils, and then try to get the colorway pattern that I want, and I figure out, and from there I can approach the color. So first I do the design, I figure out what the armor plates I want to do, then I do the armor plate production, and then I figure out the color, and then I paint. So
there's a lot of prep work, but the thing is, the cool thing about this one is you have a roadmap. You've figured out where you're going to be. I mean, I'm assuming you also have like your light sources, if anything, if you're going to do any pre-shading. But I love the process that you just showed because it's methodical. And to your point, it's like, okay, we have a project, plan, test, and then execute. Because like measure twice, cut once kind of deal, right?
Absolutely. I had 10 days. 10 days to execute.
Oh my God. Did you sleep at all? Like when you did this?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah, it turned out really good. I got him right here.
Yeah, it's from the photos. It looks great. They're just commenting on your background though. With the who said that? We got to talk about your background.
Oh, what? Oh, that? Yeah, I know. Trust me. I need to get like a nice roll of paper. I have this like big sheet of black velour that I've been using. It's just like.
Hey, it's classy, you know, back in the 70s. But hey,
in the 70s. It's not the 70s.
Bring it back. back. Yeah, so we're gonna do a quick break right now. Well, before that, I just want to say thanks, guys, for tuning in. Everybody from Facebook Live all the way to YouTube Live. I just want to read a couple of comments first. We're gonna do a quick break, and we're gonna come back. We have a whole bunch. The next part actually is really cool. Lots of technical stuff here. Lots of like little nitbits and all that stuff. We're gonna touch base on non-Gundam and Gundam and Mecha and a whole bunch of stuff. But first, I just want to say hi to everybody on Facebook. There's still Louise there. We got Cass, Desario joining us. Over at YouTube Live, lots of people joining us tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm just gonna read off some names. And unfortunately, if I don't get to any of most of your comments, I do apologize. But again, thank you guys for coming in. We got Travis Chaos, evening y'all, joining us. We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff here. Gunpla Ronin. While Godfather music was playing, I think they were just making a reference to a couple of conversations before. Chris Pass, Brian, we got to talk about this paper background from Ronin. That's a professional background, Pabs.
Miguel, giving me a hard time.
As someone who doesn't know how to set up photos, I truly support Brian's paper backgrounds. See, there you go. Miguel's supportive of you right there. Pineapples.
The brown paper background. The brown paper background for the cartoon or the card paper,
cardboards,
whatever.
yeah.
Oh yeah, this very things. Oh.
From Miguel, Gunpla Works is a staple for that kind of photo. You're talking about workspace, but blurred, amazing stuff. Yeah, I mean, I got my it's kind of set up kind of weirdly because like Brian is actually looking at me at my webcam, which is like a not so good webcam. See what I did? I actually held myself. Look at that composure.
Hey. Watch out, I'm bad influence. Sorry.
I know, right? No, dude. If I was on your show, man, I would swear like nonstop. But again,
because you've seen my show.
Yeah, because I've seen your show. I love your show. Cause like this is not. If Howard Stern built Gunpla, that would be.
We're not that bad. No, that's White Palette Wednesdays with Julio. That's not me, man. No, we're like right? David Letterman. You know, okay, like in the David good years.
I'm more of where Kimmel is right now. It's like a little bit of like this, a little bit of like that kind of deal.
Right on. It's still definitely something that your mom could watch, no problem.
Oh, absolutely. My mom is watching. Yeah. My dad is watching right now. Hi, mom.
Oh,
hi,
fabulous.
Dad. Yeah, they watch every single episode. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
None of my parents have ever seen any of my stuff.
I don't know if I never told you guys. People have seen me before when I started this. All of this was kind of just a big social experiment for me. Like, can I actually do this? Am I training myself to do this? This was never my intention. But when I started, I told my mom and my dad, because like I haven't seen them because of lockdown. And they're like, they after our first episode, hey, I really like your show. We'll watch more of that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So ever since then, since episode 1, we're now at episode 42. They call me almost like every day after the show or like after the show and saying, hey, that was a good show. But then they start criticizing. So what's that thing behind you? Or like, so what is Gundam? So it's kind of funny.
Your worst critics.
Just going down here, just so we can continue on. Mech Dio at Pro Builder. When are you coming out with your book of sketch art? Okay, that's a good question.
There's a lot of books that I need to make. Oh, Close Encounters of the Bug on my camera. Yeah, I got a lot of books. The Flea book would probably be the first thing that I put out.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because I have like 1,000 photos of the Flea for work progress and stuff. So
nice. Chris is still here. Ronan is still here. And Rick Burns, ribs, there are Chris. No, ribs, they're Chris. Ribs. Ribs. They're talking about
Pebs
food now.
Is talking.
Like,
Pebs talking about the. Look, man, the Sentinel is so big that I don't have anything to go behind it like easily, right? Because it's huge. I'm at capacity. I had to cut the barrel down because I exceeded GBWC guidelines. It was like 50 centimeters or something.
Yeah,
like
50
that.
centimeters.
It's crazy. So I I pared it all down and just did the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, more of Brian in a bit. Let's take a quick break and we will come back to the show.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Ariel from AO Mecha. I just want to let you guys know about all my other social media outlets if you haven't had a chance to check them out at facebook.com/AOMecha, on YouTube, youtube.com/AOMecha, on Instagram, instagram.com/AO_Mecha, on Twitter, at AO_Mecha, and on Discord, fairly new. That one is AO_Mecha, #3414. Anyways, hope to hear from you guys.
That went by too fast. I'm gonna do that again.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Ariel from AO Mecha. I just want to let you guys know about all my other social media outlets if you haven't had a chance to check them out at facebook.com/AOMecha, on YouTube, youtube.com/AOMecha, on Instagram, instagram.com/AO_Mecha, on Twitter, at AO_Mecha. And on Discord, fairly new, that one is AO_Mecha, #3414. Anyways, hope to hear from you guys through any of those platforms. Feel free to DM me or PM me, as well as emailing me. My email is aomecha.info@gmail.com. Just want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by USA Gundam Store. Please check them out, www.usagundamstore.com, and save on your purchases when you use my discount code AOMECHA10. All right, let's get back to the show and see what's going on there.
All right, let's try that again. I had slippery fingers on that, guys. If you guys are tuning in, oh my god, because I was talking with Brian, and we're like, hey, a couple of seconds in, I stupidly hit the button. I'm like, and I'm on the screen going like, oops. Ah! So as much as a professional looking show this is, we do have F-ups. I F'd up, but again, it's all part of the show. It's part of live streaming. Anything could happen. For as long as like there's no like nothing burning behind me, things falling off the sky kind of stuff. So like I think we're okay. Are we okay, Brian? Are we still okay?
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Yeah, hell yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Are you still good? No dust?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, thank you for tuning in. If you guys are just tuning in right now, we are here joining us, Bro Builder Brian from New York, Brooklyn specifically. Actually, I was in New York 2 years ago. I stayed at Williamsburg. Beautiful area. You could see obviously the island from where I was staying anyways.
Yeah,
really cool. First time walking the Brooklyn Bridge. It was rainy. It was April, and I loved that it was semi-rainy because like no one was at the bridge except for the bikers, and I totally forgot the bikers take priority. So I'm there doing it on my selfie stuff. And next thing I know, I was like, "Hey, get the hell out of my way, kid!" And I'm like, "Oh, hi, New York. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Being all Canadian and stuff at New York, that was fun."
No, they get it. They're just gonna tell you, like they understand. You're there to enjoy the city. They want you to come and enjoy the city. They also want you to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
We have a quick question here before we get to the rest of the show here. This is from Chris. Question for the stream. What's the tastiest looking mobile suit? What's the tastiest looking mobile suit? That is a question from Chris. Has to be yummy. Has to be delicious. Delicious.
Tastiest.
All right.
Tastiest.
I know. I'm thinking now too. I want to answer that too for mine. What would be a tasty one?
I would say not the Nightingale, the other one from
You're reading my mind because I was gonna say something.
the one from Unicorn, whatever that one is. 'Cause it reminds
Sinanju.
me of a big like a lot. No, the big mobile armor.
Right, the mobile
Right,
armor.
it reminds me of a gigantic lobster.
Nightingale 2 or something.
Yeah, whatever that thing is.
It
I can't
appeared
remember. It's got a
once,
weird name.
and it fired a whole bunch of lasers everywhere.
Yeah,
it was going crazy.
because she was going crazy. She's like, you know, going nuts with the psycho fields. Yeah.
That is tasty.
That would be
okay.
awesome. Just think of the juicy meat to be cracking open.
Ooh, that's good. For me, if it wasn't the Sazabi's definitely up there because it's a very thick void right there. The aquatic version in the Leo line, the one that looks like a submarine, in the Gundam Wing Leo sign. I think that one would be a bunch. Yeah, you could definitely make sushi out of that one. I think it's gonna be a nice sushi Leo. Not Leo. I keep saying Leo. It's oh my god, it's from the same Leo frame, the Oz Mobile. So our Oz Mobile suit submarine one. I think that one's gonna be a nice, delicious meal if you do cook it right. You just need a couple of seasoning in there and some stir fry, and I think we're good to go. Speaking of good to go, why don't we go back to the show here? Next up, our non-Gundam stuff for a bit, and then we're gonna swing back to your current work. We have here Star Wars. You mentioned it earlier on. So we have a X-wing here. This one looks like post colors, but is it post? Is it post colors?
Yep, that's post colors.
Nice.
That's another one where I had 7 days to build a model for a thing earlier this year, and I did.
Oh my god! Do you give yourself the timeline, or is it like?
No. They that's not how that works. We don't do that.
Okay, we don't do that here.
No, I like to take my time ish when I work on stuff. I mean, I'm always productive, and I usually have like several spoons in several different pots, stirring things constantly. But yeah, like when it's brought to me and someone's like, "Hey, can you?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, of course. I accept the challenge," and everything goes on the side, and I do this thing really quick. It was really fun to paint the orange on this. It was a lot of fun, and everything is masked. There's no decals except for in the cockpit. It's all masked or hand painted.
So my favorite color is orange, and you did this very, very good justice. And I also love that you have that color red and yellow orange as well on your previous builds there. For this scale here, I know this is like a smaller scale. This is like probably like what, like this big, if anything?
No, it's here. I actually have it right here.
Or is it the bigger one? Oh, okay, it's that one. Okay, yep.
So yeah, spiderweb.
Nice. Details.
Yep.
Details.
Yep. Lightly oil rendered, kind of a satin gloss finish to it. But trying to leave the metallics bright. So I did went through and I chrome painted everything first, and then with the mission models chrome that I used. But yeah, lots of fun.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Speaking of good looking, there is a custom gun here. This one is massive. This is like probably like one of your 1-to-1 scale weapons that you mentioned earlier on.
Right on. Is it white or is it gray?
It's white. It's white right now.
Oh, that's the shotgun. Yeah, that's the Flacker. That's a legendary Torg shotgun with a Hyperion stock on it. So
I play Borderlands, and that when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I know this.
Yeah, I have a couple of them hanging up in the other room painted.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, cast, because it's hollow. Roto cast, made in multiple components and able to be assembled. So the barrel is a single component. Each one of the exhaust ports is a single exhaust port that gets glued into it. The sight is a single sight. The sight is actually the first thing that I ever pressure cast, and that's why I got my pressure cast setup, which is pretty cool because I learned that.
What's a pressure cast? Sorry, I'm not versed in that one.
No, that's fine.
Some people are probably not, but like.
So there's a few different ways. Yeah, a few different ways when it comes to when you're trying to make a mold of something or trying to make a copy of something or trying to make a replica. So you can do a silicone mold and you can do them in several different ways. Tim Child of Mecha's talked about it and actually shown some of this on his channel in the past, or his live streams earlier this year, for making a dump mold. Essentially, that is it is just a simple thing that you pour silicone on, and then when you flip it over, you can just pour resin into it, and that's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything crazy, none of that stuff. Pressure casting molds are done as a 2-part mold where there's a left side and a right side, and then you have a little pouring point, and you pour into it, and then it makes the copy of whatever's on the inside of that as a solid component. Roto casting is where you make like a bigger volume where it's like a more hollow space inside, and you spin the mold around in all sorts of different directions while the resin is inside of it to make a thin layer of plastic on the outside. Those usually require several different pours, and I made a special machine when I did that, and I I learned a new way to make molds to make it easier to do that kind of stuff. So pressure casting deals with 2-part molds, and the idea behind it is that what happens with these complicated parts, like your little Gundam parts and stuff like that, inside this little mold where there's all the space for air to get trapped, right?
Right, yeah.
So what happens is when you put the resin in there, sometimes it has air bubbles in it or whatever, put it inside a pressure pot, which is just basically a little pot that has a lid that clamps down and vices down to make a seal, has a regulator on it. You run compressed air into it, increase the atmospheres, essentially like going under sea. So you're creating the atmospheric pressure onto the plastic inside the silicone mold itself, and this crushes the air bubbles inside until the resin cures, making them microscopic, and then they are essentially gone, or it pushes them out through the top of the mold. That's the idea behind it. So what I do is I when I pour my stuff, I have my book with my recipe and everything like that, and I weigh everything out like very scientifically, and I pour my stuff, and I have it's all timed in it. Put stuff in there, and I increase it by 40 atmospheres, so it's 40 times the normal air pressure that's on me right now. Well, so 40 or 50, but yeah.
Going through some of these photos, we're at the gray one, right? This is still the same gun, or is it now a different gun?
Well, so there was one here where it showed like the original, which is like a fully built so the white one, so there was the one white one and then the other one that was like 2-tone.
Yeah, there's 2 of them side by side.
That's the original. That's all made solid. That's all made out of wood and plastic and metal, and that's a solid heavy piece. The other one is completely hollow plastic.
So it's easier to carry and all that.
Right, and it's also made in a bunch of different components. So like the stock separates from the center part of the barrel, which separates from the magazine, which separates from the outside clip, which separates from all the different shotgun shells, which separates from. And so it comes apart into a bunch of different parts, and you basically put it together like a model.
Oh wow!
It's 1-to-1 scale. It's 32 inches long or something like that. It's a big thing.
Oh, it's a real gun almost. Like
it's full size. Yeah, it's 1-to-1 scale. I looked at the I looked at the television, and I looked at myself, and I drew 1-to-1 scale drawings for.
Oh, you didn't even have the model for it, so you had to
No, there's no model. No. I did it all by hand. So it's all drawn by hand, all made by hand, everything cut, shaped by hand, all the wood cut by hand, all the metal cut by hand, shaped and built, all by hand, all the design done
Oh my
here.
god, like a true artisan right here, dude. That's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's very rare to get a well-rounded artist like you doing all kinds of, but and still the same genre, which is pretty cool. Now this photo here that I have on the screen, these look like
those
brown
are molds.
molds, right? Okay, so let's talk
Yeah,
about
so
molds
that's-
here.
Those are mother molds, essentially. And what that is it's a fiberglass shell. They're matrix molds, but it's a fiberglass shell outside of a silicone rib inside, and it's designed so that the silicone fits into the fiberglass shell. The shell gives it support on the outside and allows you to reduce the amount of silicone that you use to make something. So when I'm making these like guns and stuff like that, we'll say like the prop replicas,
Right.
If you're gonna try and make a brick mold for the body of, like, see this one right here, like it's the 2 parts interior, that's the interior, or it's actually 3-part mold of the main part of the shotgun.
Oh, okay.
With the two green sides, and then there's a little plug that goes into the end of that. That's the first time I've ever seen anybody make a 3-part matrix mold. Oh yeah. I'm sure a bunch of people do it, but it's the first time I ever saw it.
Well, this is the first time. You're
so
the only person that I know that's making this. I mean, I've seen it done, but like, you know,
sure.
I'm sure people done it, but like you're the first person I'm talking to that actually has make it and has kind of like that background knowledge of actually the process of like from start to finish creating the mold, actually from drawing to creating I guess the main master mass of it, and then
it's a master sculpt, and
Yeah.
then you make a mold, and then you pull casts from the mold.
Wow.
So yeah, so like that's what I was doing, like the big stuff first, and that's why I was saying, you know, getting to doing the smaller, still doing plastics and having fun with that kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's still fun. It's still sci-fi. Speaking of sci-fi, continuing on with that, we have reticles here as well. Were these also scratch built, or were they?
So yeah, the white one is actually scratch built. It's made out of like weird stuff from when I was doing leather jewelry and like plastic card and hardware and stuff like that. And then the one that's black that has the little feet on it is my first pressure cast.
Oh, okay.
So the master is the white one, and then I made a fancy mold, and then pressure cast that to get the
next
exciting reticle.
Nice.
To capture all the detail.
Now, speaking of details, I know this is a miniature. This is an engine block of your next project. We're gonna be on the cars next.
Yeah, that was a good one. This was for the mopal making for Model Makers Boom Hut. If you guys know Mike Wolf, you probably not. Maybe, I don't know. E-Models UK and Mike Wolf, the model making guru. Yeah, like I got in with his like Facebook group and hung out with those guys for a little while.
What, at England or here in the States?
Well, just online. So you can hang out with people all over. Yeah, just community, man.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I got in with them, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna do this mopal making," which is just their weird way of wordifying something that doesn't exist. And they were like, "We want it to be like a crazy egg build off." So they were like, "Take a chibi or a weird kit and eggify it in some way, shape, or form."
Eggify it. Oh my god.
Right. Which in the end, you'll see the final thing, and it'll make some sense. But I got this. I got this really fun hot rod, like weirdo style, like a rat rod, or like you can see it there.
Nice.
But yeah, so I got this model kit, and I was like, let's take this coupe and turn it into a truck. We got to like supercharge the engine. It already had a super blower on the front, so I made like some valves for that. I made a new hood for it. I added a bunch of extra custom details to that. I built a whole new grill for it. I cut out the trunk. I built a bed for it. I made the bed, like lined the bed in wood, so that's like a woody, you know?
Right.
Like
yeah, we have it right now on the screen too. And like, what is that made out of? Like balsa wood or popsicle stick or what?
Yeah, I think that's balsa wood. I just got some here. I just got some from the craft store. I just got some different sizes of. Couple of different sizes of like hobby wood. You want a few different ones because the boards aren't going to all be the same, and kind of mess them up a little bit so it looks like it's made.
And it's different colors too, depending on what the material you pick up, because then it will add that nice variation.
Yeah, it's all just painted. So to get the details, it's all hand painted.
So it looks like you chromed the grills as well here.
No, I made those out of metal. So
they're metal.
Yeah, that's actually metal parts made out of, and then like a epoxy putty cap on top. And exactly, with a little radiator cap too, made out of like scratched.
Lots of details. How long was this build, by the way?
This one was another quick one. It was another like 30-day build or something along those lines.
Okay. Sorry,
yeah,
you were
just, like,
saying something.
adding in the truss bars too. I forgot about that. I added the truss rods inside the engine and like, yeah, trying to make it as fun as possible. Filled in the backs of the tires because the tires were hollow. It was a really cheapy kit. I just made it like to the tens.
For the kit itself, like, was it any scale at all, or was it like, because it's ST, it didn't have any scale?
I think it's a 120.
120 scale. Okay.
I think
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
So when I saw the
like
rubber band, it was pretty big engine block. I would say about like what, an inch or something.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent size. Is he over there? Yeah, it's right over there. I could grab it if you want me to.
Well, we'll just go through this.
Whatever.
But like,
yeah, it's fine. You'll see it.
We'll see it. So can we go to the next couple of ones, or the final ones? So you have anything else for the whips here?
It was the first time I ever painted skin tone, so that was fun. I tried to make it like this weird zombie-ish kind of flesh tone, so I painted it in like purples and greens and grays, and just to try and get some fun color out of that.
Nice. Yeah, well, let's take a look at it. At it. So this is now the final piece of it from the looks. Dude, amazing. So cool, funky stuff happening. So I have a lot of questions, obviously. This arm coming out of the side. We have the
that's part of the kit, you know, like the big stick shifty arm with the big shifter. Like, that's part of the style of that model.
Does it touch the engine? Is that the idea?
No, it's on it's a shifter. You can't really see it too well in the image, but there's a shifter in there, like a chrome shifter with a black hand on there. So he's like shifting outside, suicide shifter style outside the coupe.
Oh my god, there's flames coming out because it's like a booster wheel.
Yeah, it's just like
in the front.
Fire out the engine, like full nitro going nuts, like high octane.
God.
So first time I ever painted flames with the airbrush, like it's all freehand flame paint with the airbrush.
Oh, it looks great. And
the
wheels.
The egg is made out of one of those polystyrene balls you can get at Michael's Arts and Crafts, and I took it and I shaved it down into an egg shape, and then I packed it with epoxy putty, like the epoxy sculpt that I use, and then I shaved that all back down and like got it all to like be kind of shiny goldish as best I could. I wasn't really too into like super duper fine chrome at that point, but
yeah, I mean it worked out because like it blends. I mean it stands out because of the contrasting in color, but it blends in because of the tone and the finish of it. So
yeah, everything's kind of satiny and
right. Yeah. And I love the wood that came out. Like, did you stain as well, or did you paint?
That's washes. It's just acrylic washes. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And for the wheels, I noticed it's modified too, so that it's like squished from the looks of it.
Oh, that's actually part of the model. That's part of the base kit.
Oh,
but
what I
did, I detailed some of the undercarriage to it and backfilled those wheels because they're actually meant just to be hollow with like a hole on the inside. I put a piece of styrene in there, finished it off so that you don't have that visual like bleed.
Nice.
Got it. It was awesome.
No, it's a cool build. I dig it. Yeah. So we're getting more into like the whole, again, not so mecha stuff here, but like we are gonna circle back. It's kind of a mix of a mecha and a creature. This is what looks like the Zaku warrior from Seed, and this is the one where you have the horns and the things coming out of this.
Yeah. This is for the 4 Horsemen build off. So I'm doing a little build off with some of my friends. We call it the 4 Horsemen build off.
Nice.
It started out, everybody was going to do, well, a couple of guys were going to do a Zaku warrior. I was like, hey, I've got a Zaku warrior. And they're like, yeah, we'll do a build off. And I was like, that was great. And I pulled it down and looked at it. And the first thing I thought was like, and behold, this rider on a pale horse. And the name that came with him was death, or whatever the heck saying is from the scriptures. And like, so I was like, and I figured it out. I looked it up. I Googled it because I don't know that shit. And I posted it with the photo to my friends. And they were like, oh, are we doing a 4 Horsemen build off? And I was like, well, looks like we're doing a 4 Horsemen.
Looks like we are now. Yeah, it's go time.
So we all chose a different horseman, more or less, and they're doing pretty good. Kyle's the only one, Clueless Gumpo Builder is the only one that's actually making really good progress on it. Julio has an amazing too. He did war.
Nice.
I chose Kyle did famine. Julio did war. I chose death. So the horns.
Yeah.
Right. And then like I got the crazy spikes on the one pauldron, and then the skull sculpted on the other pauldron too.
It's sculpted. I thought it was like from a kit that you just kind of like.
No, that's just sculpted in epoxy sculpt and carved with chisels, to make it look good, like little wood carving chisels, like for using.
And this is the master grade as well, right? Like
and then of course I extended it because it's much bigger than normal.
Yeah, it looks a lot taller.
I added an inch and an eighth to it. I think at least an inch and an eighth, if not an inch and a quarter.
We could see that on a little bit on the arms and the legs, I guess there.
Yeah, the legs. I extended the legs themselves 3/4 of an inch a piece.
Ooh.
Like they got way big, and it was weird because like I was looking at the way that because it's a really dumpy kit. Like, why, Bandai? So and it's like it needs a little bit of something. So I extended the knees quite a bit and inside the lower legs, so the knees get raised quite a bit. It doesn't hamper any of the look of it because it still has like some of that exposed frame. You don't really see the extension. I just like slapped a piece of vertical thick gauge plow plate in there or styrene sheeting in there just to like ramp it up and then reinforce the crap out of it with glue. And then it all just hides like really, really well inside of it. And then of course for some of the things, I cut the legs, I cut the arms in between the joints so that the armor is extended, but the joint still works fully like normal, you know.
Because you got to get them proportional. I was talking with Simon Lamb about this not that long ago about extending stuff, because like there are some weird kits out there that are just not proportioned properly. And one topic we were looking at, and this goes to the high grades because he was working on his DOM, the Goof Origins. If you look at it, the arm of it, because of the weapon, the limb is fine up to the joint of the elbow. But because the hand had a bigger gun, it gave that little extension, and it looks weird because you're looking at it. Everything is proportional. Then the arms are like super extended past the middle of the thigh, right? And if you're into anatomy and stuff like that, and proportions, if you're looking at a humanoid, figure, it just disproportionate. But like the way you tackle this one, enlarging stuff but making it proportional, that I think is the correct way, and you did it.
Also, really well. Extended the waist, and the big thing was the neck. I brought the neck up from, it was like 3 millimeters and I think it's like 13 millimeters now,
right? Because
it like has this just like that guy from 90 Day Fiance and like get it up there, you know. Get that neck up there, look around a little bit, like you need, especially with those horns. Like, could you imagine the dumpy little head with these horns on top? No, man.
And the collar is just like hiding it. It's like,
I know, hides everything. It looks really like crammed in. You can't even like see. It's like, come on, dude, you're real.
Hey, I'm just saying, man.
No, I know, yeah. I mean, like, dude, I know,
right? Hey, bro, let me fix your collar up real quick, bro. The next one here, this one is the BR lint, and you did a couple of modifications on this one as well. I classify this under the other part just because like the way this was kind of like elongated everywhere. I'm looking at longer thigh, extra joint. What's going on
Violent. Yeah, violent monster with the banana fingers.
Yeah, banana fingers. Why? Or why not, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I'm like I follow this podcast called Mobile Suit Breakdown. I don't know if you guys know about it. A couple of Brooklynites, Tom and Nina, break down Mobile Suit Gundam, and they talk all sorts of really cool stuff. Check them out; they're all over the place. So I'm part of their Patreon group, and this year they did Zeta, and so they did the Violent as a build off. So they did Violent build off, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll do one, whatever. Heck with it, and got a HG Violent, and was like, what can I do to this to like really like get fun? Because it's like a weird thing. So I was like, what if I like, because it has that cool green piping, and I was like, I really like that green piping. And I was like, what if this thing got like infected by some weird space virus and like went and like glutted out with these like weird like tendrily Tetsuo almost like I don't know, whatever they are,
tentacle hands stuff, right? I don't say
tentacle hands. It was just like no, it's just like and then like all the joints really extended long with these like weird, gross looking like almost umbilical or like intestinal like tubes. I imagine
kind of
like
all been gross, kind of like innards, kind of popping out.
And then extended the knees, extended the legs, extended the arms, and that was all done very simply by taking just styrene tubes that match the peg release, like the sleeving parts, right? So it sleeves onto the peg, and then the other side you put a little piece of styrene that sleeves into the other part and extend the arms, and it looks weird because it's got these weird sticks on it. And then you use the tube maker, the roll maker from Green Stuff Works to make all these things and just do all this fun creative. How did
you balance it, by the way? Is there a rod coming up the leg?
It is glued and it is screwed to the base, so the thing is almost like, fixed. You can move move some of the shoulders and like some little bits of stuff, and like obviously the fingers are on wires, so you can do that weird thing. It's like I got it right here.
Oh, sweet. Let's go take a look at the banana banana fingers. Oh wow, that's nice.
The pictures don't really do it like super duper justice.
You holding it right now, giving it scale, because like the BR is a very big kit too. It's a taller kit already, and you made it even taller.
By adding in these fun like tenderly.
Oh, nice.
Grossness, right? And so all of that stuff, the fun thing about this was some of it was masked, but it was like generally masked. So all of these little dudes in here, this isn't a wash, this is just a straight paint. So I painted each one of those with the airbrush, like micro green on each little segments to tedious. Do that. It's cathartic and meditative, it's good, makes you feel good.
Yeah,
You're
no,
done.
it turned out really, really well. The next project here, this one I kind of put. This was like all again. Your pictures were all over the place, but like
They
the way
were. I'm
organized.
so sorry.
Oh, all good, all good. I love that our adventure is more adventure in this show than it was in the other show, so that's kind of cool. I might reformat the show to just, you know what, just give me everything. We're just gonna talk about stuff. I mean, I'll rearrange it a little bit, but for the most part, it's been shotgun. The next part here is what I really am curious about. Hopefully, we'll talk a little bit more. This is the Zaku with wings.
Oh yeah.
So
This one
what
was
caught
fun.
me here
This
was
first
the
concept,
wings.
like,
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
The wings are what am I? Is this mold like clay?
Yeah, I molded that, or I sculpted them in monster clay. I originally got the idea, was gonna do it was for the let me find my words. The Gunpla Builders Association did a cannon fodder build off where it was like build a grunt suit that is just like the cannon fodder, the beat up one. It's
right.
really like, and whatever. I was watching a lot of MS Igloo. If you've ever seen MS Igloo, I really love MS. I have a ton of Gundam. I bought it. I got
awesome.
really big into it. I've already have a huge anime collection, so it's like, why not make a huge Gundam, part of it, So Igloo, big fan of Igloo, and within it there is this one storyline of the Angel of Death, essentially, and it's called that, the Angel of Death, and it's a spirit on the battlefield that poisons the minds of people on the battlefield and causes them to like do extra crazy stuff. It's like almost like a precursor to like the not really the AT field, but like the psycho fields and stuff like that.
Okay.
Right?
So just
where it's like possessed by this. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so like the miasma, or like, you can see like see this like tank driver, and you look at him and it's like he's got this weird black shadow of miasma coming off of him. It's like the Angel of Death is possessed. And so that the idea behind this was the Zaku mind layer, and then it would be possessed by the Angel of Death to the point where people seeing it on the field might see what looks like glowing, miasmic wings coming off the back of it as it's swooping through the battlefield. The idea was to make it look like it had been through the ringer, to give it layers and layers of beat up, just like smashed damage and repaired and all
we're
that.
gonna get to all of that details as well as further down the street, but like why don't we circle back. The next couple of slides I believe are the detail up, so we're looking at a scratch build axe, a heat hawk.
Heat hawk. It's more like a heat axe as opposed to a heat hatchet. The ones that they give you with the kits, it's so tiny.
What I hate about the kit, there's a little peg on the side, and you're just like, fuck. I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah, no, good. No, I like the ones where they go on the back. Like the FC, that was one of the good things about the FZ. It like goes on the back of the.
The Zaku Warrior also has it at the back, right? Or does it horse it at the shield? Anyway,
I don't
it's
remember.
not at the side of the skirt.
Yeah, it's not just like clipped into the into the side. Like, thank you, 1980s toy technology.
So this one is plow plate mainly, from the looks of it. Some
all
plastic
scratch
rods.
builds. It's all scratch build plow plate. And the image that you have up right now, it has a loose wire that is in place. But what I ended up doing was bending a piece of actual like solid styrene, and then carving in all of the segments for the segmented tube that goes into that. So that I actually employed later doing the full city, where I redid all the piping on the full city the same way, where I scratch built all of the piping. But yeah, so and then the blade of this is actually cast off resin from when I cast the wings. So I again sculpt the wings, mold the wings, cast the wings. Same old stuff.
And we're gonna get to the effect of that later on when it's all complete. It looks really cool. Armor up details. You're looking at a little bit of styrene plow plating on the armor.
Trying to add like just thinking about it, like taking damage to the armor and finding something that's like scaled. So what I actually did was I kept 1/100 scale figures on my desk and made sure that none of the sheets would be much larger than a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of steel.
That is so smart. Because that way you could scale them. Yeah, just have a little figure talk.
And then think about like cool. How, who would be able to do it? Like, what could you do? Like, so I tried not to, I did a little bit of folding, like rolling around edges and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to do that on the field. Right. So I tried to make it look like something that could be put together by some, like a hack build team on the field of repair guys trying to like, let's pull this piece of ship's hull over here and we'll slap it on over the toe where it took too much damage.
So it's just bolting in pretty much, it's like bandaging or like putting a little band-aid, duct tape, metal tape.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, covering, just re-armoring over the machine that just won't die.
Oh my god, yeah,
And
the Zaku's are here.
Yeah, and some of that detail, like down in the toe, like where that weird, like gigantic flap was. You can see this here too, on that where there's the strapping over the scratch, and there's bullet holes that I did, and each of the bullet holes were made with like a knife, and then like carving out and just making sure that everything was like rounded out and splayed, so it looked like an actual bullet impact as opposed to just like drilling a hole in it and calling it a day.
And it's also like lots of dents and indents. The crack, I think, really gave it that extra oomph, because you could feel that it's like a solid piece that got nicked here.
Yeah, and they're
go on. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like on the side, they showed the side skirt for a second there.
Oh, I have the side skirt back up right now.
Oh, you do have it back up. Okay, so the side skirt there, you can see where it looks like it just like got pounded by fire, like straight up, just like hit with crazy fire. And then they just went in, they were like, what? You slap stuff on and try and cover it up, try and make it look good. So I also did a bunch of extensions on this, so like the body itself.
Did you extend this, Brian?
Well, sort of. I didn't lengthen any of the legs or arms, but I widened the core. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's like the old models themselves have kind of like some small stuff, so it looks a little bit like underwhelming. So I expanded the core a little bit, just the armor, kicked the armor out, though it all still worked fine with everything. Expanded the front skirts a little bit to fill in some of the gaps, because it's kind of gappy. That. Yeah, it gets in because I knew I wanted to do this really crazy pose where I had it all super duper drawn out, and it's just going to expose all of this ugly frame that looks like a toy inside, so I want to hide it. So I just fill it in with the armor, expanded that shoulder, cut the sides, and then jacked it out.
Have you thought of, or have you used those sorry, not to deviate too far, but like meshes. I've seen some kits where in order, because like there's a lot of beautiful details in the inside parts of like most of these master grades. You have all these like hidden wires and control panels and inner frame skeletal system. Once you put the armor, it's pretty much covered. I've seen people use they would cut out a piece of the armor and put an iron mesh on that. Have you tried it with any of your builds yet?
I haven't messed with meshing with any of the mesh and stuff like that. I have had some thoughts. I know that some of my friends do it, but it just hasn't like worked with what the things that I've done. I'm sure that it'll come around someday.
Okay. Yeah, because like I was just curious, because like I want to get your thoughts on like how you work with mesh, and because there's a battle damage, I think that would have been a nice little just covering thing for it, right?
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Do throw some of that in there for variants, but at that point I wasn't even thinking about it. I guess this was the spring of 2018 too.
Oh, this is still year.
This was two.
This
was the first build. This was basically the first build of year 2.
Nice. So. Speaking of continuing on with this one, you're now detailing it. The colors are now popping up. Basically, you have your first coat here. You got the grays coming out.
This is well, I've got like this is actually so I really hyper went ahead, because there's like again 700-800 photos for this build, so I have to like pick 5 or something like that.
Yeah, no, thanks for not sending all of that, because I would have been on the computer like all day going like, well, we don't need this.
No. I went through it. It was 180 or something like that, and I pared it down to 140.
Oh my god. Nice.
Yeah, so this was like playing around with oil rendering and doing some of this. This is when I first started to implement the techniques that micron all the outlies in SMO3. So
Chris Powell's just saying, am I watching critical builds right now? So your kit here, okay, like what we could do here, I think what we should have done is really extenuate a little bit of that detail here by adding hey, can I join critical builds? I'm just gonna toss it out there. If there's an opening, let me know. I'm interested in pretending to know what I'm talking about. So shield wise here, you kept the Xeon logo. I mean, that's a nice little accent that's just notification for that.
Yeah. And then I added in some more detailing, and then just playing around with like getting that streaking and that grime, the machine that's been out there in the field that hasn't had a chance to get anything but field painted. And now when I did I did the chipping technique on this, right? Like Mike has outlined in the past.
Right.
And but when I did it, I did a layer. I painted everything. So first thing I did when I painted the kit was I painted it black, and then I painted it the rust color. And then on top of the rust color, I I painted a layer of, or I put a layer of hairspray, and then I painted a gray layer, and then I put a layer of hairspray, and then I put the base layer of the actual Zaku color, like the traditional colors of the Zaku, the greens and the various stuff for all the various parts, and painted it like a traditional Zaku, layer of hairspray, then painted it like the desert Zaku, layer of hairspray, changed the colors of the desert Zaku over that, right? And then when I chip down from that, you chip backwards through time, and you bring back all of these layers, and it's precipitating off because each layer has a layer of hairspray in between it. If you do it right, not easy to do. I got really lucky, I'm not gonna lie. And you can pull it back and create all these cool different layers of these colors, and then and then do that, and then re-enhance that by using the oil paints and then pulling the grime out and then adding different colors and pulling. So
I like that you point out oil paints. I have not personally used it, so I'm not too versed at oil paints. If you could provide maybe 1 or 2 tips for using oil paints, you could share some.
Sure.
Some of that.
I mean, the first one that I'm going to tell you is what I learned like straight off from Mike's book at the beginning is like you can use pretty much any oil paint, but one thing that you're going to need, and I have a bunch of them right here, is little bits of cardboard. So this is a regular cardboard sheet, and the reason being is that when you pull your oil paint, they're over here, out of, come here, buddy, all the way.
That's right, baby, right here.
There we go.
All the way.
Try to get my drawer out. Wise guy. So here, this is just this is some Abtalong. This is some engine grime, right? This is a famous. Everybody loves this one. But you don't have to use anything fancy. I use really fancy oil paints because I just buy fancy shit. So I use these like just regular tubes. It doesn't matter exactly what it is, but what this is loaded with is linseed oil, and that's going to slow down paint's drying time, right? And that's what we don't want for this process. You don't want the paint to stay on the model forever, and that's the reason why people shy away from using oil paints a lot of times, is because you put oil paint on there, you have to let that stuff dry. If you have it laid on too thick in a certain spot, it might not dry for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. That's terrible. Nobody wants to have to do that.
And what kind of effect does the oil paint give that's not something that could be achieved with acrylic?
So what you get is like after you put it on this, and so let me just finish what this is. Is you put little dabs of the oil paint on this, and you let it sit for 35-45 minutes. And what you'll see is that the cardboard gets dark colored, and it's leaching the linseed oil out and leaving you with just the pigment itself, and then like the binder. It's holding it together. So you can then use like mineral spirits and a paintbrush. What I prefer to use for a paintbrush is, where are you, beautiful? Here you go. Is this like calligraphy or kanji brush essentially that I got from like Kinokuniya. It's just like a super duper fine, like long bristle brush, and you just take a tiniest little bit of mineral spirits and using tiny little bits of paint, and you're adding little accents, and then you can do that and wash, and what you get is transparent washes, and you get like the opacity and the depth that comes out of the oil paint and then you can't really get that. You sort of can get that with acrylics, and I did with the Buster. It took a lot of time. It was really kind of a crapshoot too, and it ends up looking muddy a lot of times. You have to worry about that. What you can do with the oil paint is you can either do a couple of different things. If you've got like this style, you can add it in like super like nice little spots, and like do streaks and grime and speckles and all this cool stuff. Or you can do like the MIG ammo brushers, and you can do some modulation where you're like dipping paint and then you're fading that over the whole thing and adding like layers of like corrosion or whatever it might be.
Wow. So that is what that's something that oil paint can bring with that acrylic can. Wow. Yeah. And we're looking right now on your shoulder armor here with that one. Which one here would you say you spent the time with that oil paint on? Or did you use it for this guy here?
Well, the oil paint on it's used to do like I'm gonna actually pull it up a little bit closer, because it's a lot of chipping. Obviously you can see the chipping all over, but then you get like the streaks and the rusting, the grime streaks that come out of all the rivets and all the haloing on that. It's what I used to do I don't panel line. I don't use panel line washes. I don't use any enamel washes or anything like that. I do all my stuff with oil paint. I mean, I'm a painter. I went to school for that stuff. And I didn't graduate, but I still went to school.
We don't advertise that here. I'll Photoshop your diploma soon. Don't worry. We'll just say you did it in Canada. Are they gonna check? Yeah, absolutely. Man. You know what? No. Let me work one out for you, man. The School of AO Mecha, fully graduated, certified freaking artist extraordinaire.
Perfect.
I'll send you a
things you learn more. But yeah, so like all the oil paint is all the speckles and all of the aging and everything like that, aside from like the base chipping and the color, like the base color variation. Yeah, it's where you get like the all the fun parts.
And just cycling through the rest of the Zaku here, again, this is just still standing form. I want to get to the part where it's actually flying, and I'm just fast forwarding a little bit to show.
Oh yeah, the one with the purple background where it looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, because
awesome.
I want to get these guys looking at your wings. It took some Red Bull, guys, and here we go. Okay, I got it here. The Zaku took some Red Bull as the engine fluid, and now we got wings, and it's flying. Looks really cool. What's holding that? Is that like clips? Is alligator clips?
Yeah, alligator clips on skewers because it was so heavy that I couldn't get it to stand upright, right? So like it's on the action base, and then just two skewers to hold the wings up because the wings themselves weigh more than the model.
Wow, it looks really cool. I love how the wings came out also like that semi-translucent kind of
that
feel
was
to it, right?
Not easy. You guys saw the earlier picture where they looked all fuzzy and white almost,
yeah.
funky. I went through with my Dremel and I carved for 8 hours on each wing, adding detail and reducing weight and improving the design. So I had my original sculpt, which is kind of just a loose like sketch of a sculpt. And then I did my mold, and then I went back and added all the details. So all the little fletching and all that stuff was all done by hand with a ball and Dremel.
Oh my god, that sounds painful. Oh my god, that sounds.
Oh man,
painful,
I enjoy that stuff. I really enjoy that stuff. Not gonna lie, I'm a sculptor at heart, and then like that kind of stuff I really enjoy, and like. So you know, get that point, and then so take it that point, and then polish it with sandpaper and various grits of microfilm, and then gloss coat it to bejesus to get
get that shine. Yeah, because it's very like it just pops, especially with the way the light is hitting it right now too. It's really cool.
Yeah, for something like this, I absolutely suggest using Future, something cheap that doesn't matter. It's just acrylic going on resin. It's not like
you're not like
about the model.
Yeah, for as long as it coats it evenly, no bumps, nothing on that one and all that.
Yeah, and it does shine. Has that Future shine.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shine, we are approaching towards the latter part, and this is your current build for the original mecha concept. Let's start with this one. From the start, when I remember you starting this on your live stream, so I was following a little bit of that when you're working on it, and some the other day as well. It's come along real far since obviously you started. Can you walk us through? 20th. Yeah, I was gonna say that around the 20th, something like that. Can you tell us again, for those guys just joining and first time seeing this, what the concept is? How did you derive to it? And like, what are the stuff that you're working on right now on this?
What I'm doing right now is just refining. So I've been laying down, now that I have like the majority of the basic parts put together, I'm doing like detail. So I'm going in and I'm laying down primer and I'm refining all the putty work that I've done and all the various like abnormalities that are in it. I went through and I added this whole rat's nest of wires that are integral to the design, but they right now are just this crazy mess of wires out the top because that's how it is going to be until it's fully painted and done. But going in and doing more detail and refining things. I went in recently, actually just yesterday, and I added in some like cast metal texture into some parts of the, you kind of can see it, kind of can't see it.
I mean,
into there, but I masked it, and I masked it off so that it's not everything. So there's parts like on the side, this is all like going to be smooth and shiny, and then this part in here is all textured. This part down here is all textured with like a smooth band.
Did you use different type of level of grading for your primer? Because I know you were talking about last night about 500. 1500 surfacers and 1000 1200s. So can you maybe just give us a little bit of insight on like what primer you would use and when you would use it?
So yeah, exactly. It depends on when you're going to need to use it and what you're going to try and do with it. So for the majority of stuff, like when I'm doing like a rough build and I'm, let's say, doing something that's like a kit bash, it's got a bunch of crazy colors on it and stuff, I'll hit it with some 1200 lightly just to kind of matte the color out and like kind of like make it all sort of homogenized and kind of help me first start to see where the abnormalities in the surface are. So if there's any abnormalities, surface finish, dings, overcuts, I'm using a lot of donor parts for this. Like this is just stuff
donor parts.
This is all just stuff that like was either sent to me when someone was like, yo, hey bro, I found this giant pile of wing kits that I made in like 2002. And like they're dusty and full of stickers and weird, like do something with them if you want. So like that's where the spine came from.
Nice.
Yeah, and like just some other stuff like that. So it's like just various different things, stuff that I didn't exactly like. Almost all of this is stuff that I didn't build. There's a couple things, like the forearms and the shoulders. Yeah. And like that's pretty much stuff that I made myself. And everything else has just been like parts that I pulling together from the parts bin.
circling back from parts, if you guys
Yeah,
are
so
looking
then-
at this, the theme of this one is very, very like samurai, kind of like
Yeah.
Oni, kind of like I don't even want to call it like a mecha dark samurai looking guy. Like, how did you? What was your inspiration for the concept? Maybe that's one of the questions.
Well, I didn't really have one more than just a kind of a mood. I built it. I didn't have a sketch. I didn't start with an idea, right? Necessarily.
Okay.
I had a bunch of ideas for OMC this year. I had some really crazy, grandiose ones, which may come down the road, but they're just like not something I'm gonna do right now. And it was really just like I had this like set of like legs, and I was like, I want to do something with these. Like, what can I do with these to make it different? It was like, let's make it, weird and big and kind of half reverse joint. Like, so I grabbed these other legs and spun around and like spun the feet around and spun the knees around, whatever, and like stuck them in. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. Let's see what we can do from there. And I was like, oh, what about this? It'd be kind of cool if like it had like a weird like tired. He was really tired. Like, see this guy.
Oh,
like,
that's what it is. I thought he was injured from a battle.
And he's like, yeah, well, it kind of like
okay,
a little bit of one, a little bit of two, like super
Okay.
tired. Like, I've been around for hundreds of years. It has like, almost like the broken arm, like the Artorias arm.
Yeah.
And then, like leaning really heavily on the staff. Just this like weary, ancient, like demon robot samurai.
Oh, it looks great. For the back part here, lots of detail, especially with the wire works. When you were thinking about this, that was one of the things you want to incorporate? Because like I've seen a lot of like the wire work on this. No, what?
Not what I wanted to. No, that just came. It just was like I had the basic form of it kind of figured out. I like knew that I had one of those shields on the knees and the this and the that and the kabuto, and then like the details for the shoulders and the helmet with the like the antlers. I did that on live stream, and I was just like trying to think of what would look interesting as a filler.
That's
so what works as a good filler. And I was like, these legs are weird in the back and like they're kind of loose and I need to like add volume to it, but I don't want to like just start slapping weird armor parts onto it.
So like it might not make sense too, right?
And I'm like, that doesn't fit too with my theme. I want this thing to look like it's like, like weird and old and crazy, like almost like Dragon's Heaven. If you've seen Dragon's Heaven, awesome stuff, right? Crazy,
good stuff
crazy,
there.
Cool, like a different concept of like a mecha or robot, even just thinking about the way that
it's very organic in a sense that's like not like if you're talking traditional mecha, a mecha is something you ride that is like based on regular machinery that's modernized or upgraded to a futuristic look. But what his work is very organic in nature, similar to what you're looking at. We just have the leg here up right now. I love the mixture of like the round parts with the hard edge, where you kept most of the hard edges towards the end and the tip of that one, but everything else in the middle kind of just like has that nice flow. A little bit of like the silhouette on this is really cool because of the wires. You have that nice transparency coming through. Really good stuff there.
That's
and yes, this is becoming this is critical talking.
No, this is literally I'm glad that you're describing it like this, because this is exactly the way that I wanted it to be looked at. The way I wanted it to be visually thought to in your head. Like, so that's good.
Weird thing, as an artist as well, from background in you, like for me, when I go to an art gallery with friends that are not like artistically technical background, they look at a painting and they go, wow, that's a beautiful painting, emotion. And I'm like, I love this painting, but not necessarily for the subject or the thing. It's like, I love the execution. You see where the light is coming from and how that thing is reflected. So she's looking at me going like, what's wrong with you? But that's what
even talking about this.
But the thing is, like, what I appreciate here is that the thought process of what you're trying to do and voicing it out. It's like, I see that what you're doing here. And then you're like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yes, same wavelength. Love it, man. So how far along are you now with this build, by the way? Like, would you say?
So where I am with it is, like I said, I'm adding surface detail. I'm refining through the priming process. So where I'll use different primers, I'll use a 500 when it comes to anything that I've heavily modified or kit bashed and mashed together into something else, because the 500 is going to act as a filler as well as just like a prime. So lay the 500 down, sand it off, lay it down, sand it off, lay it down, sand it off. Kind of like
rinse, repeat, and all that.
I prime and sand. Me and Pabs built, because Pabs was building a Neo Xeon SD at the same time that he started before me actually, but I finished first.
Whoa, hey, Chris.
But no, but seriously, we both
slack.
like literally prime and sand our kits like 20 times to get it right, because it's like you want it to be smooth, especially if you want something to be smooth and glossy. You need that to like do that over and over and over again, using your super glue to fill in your potholes and like.
Do you have a preference range of sand grits? Because I know some people love their 600, love their 1200s. What are we looking at?
I like to use sandpaper from ranges 200 up to 14,000.
Ooh, wow!
Depending on what I'm doing. And then when you get up into the upper thousands, you're not dealing necessarily with the sandpapers. You're dealing with a micron paper or a micron cloth.
Yeah, it's going to be a cloth at that point.
Yeah, 3M Zonia makes an excellent grouping of them. Yeah, 14K. So
awesome.
These guys right here.
Wow.
And that's where you can polish your clears, and like that canopy for the flea, right? So like beautiful clear canopy. When I was setting stuff in that and doing things with all this, I had it in there just like chilling, like part of the model, and I was working on the hosing on the side and something popped off. So I hit it with Zap-A-Gap, and then I hit it with the kicker and I sprayed the clear and it etched it.
It etched it right on.
Yeah, because the zip kicker will etch. So it etched the clear plastic, almost all of it. So I had to polish it back to clear using the micron paper. So that was all just like by hand.
Tedious kind of going
watching,
in there.
Watching the Marvel movies again or whatever, you know. Just
after whatever. Infinity War, I think it's done.
Endgame. All right. Endgame. No.
Speaking of Endgame, I think that is it for our show and tell. We're going to pull back to the duel real quick. Brian, wow, what an adventure tonight. You have so much we have so much more to do. I really want to have you back in a future show if that is something we could work together on. I definitely want to get some more information about like your casting, your molding, and just your art style kind of deal. I think that would be a nice little segment.
I've done a bunch of stuff too. Like you guys saw, just scratching the surface. Like,
look at this guy, bro's flexing on me, guys. So
I can't help it. I'm a compulsive builder. I can't help it. The bro builder.
The bro builder. True to his name. What do we want to do? Again, thank you guys tuning in for us at this show at Facebook Live and YouTube Live. YouTube Live, again, everybody there is watching. JB, we got Kaz, we got Lewis there still, and Nicholas says hi, but he can't watch it, so he's gonna watch the replay tomorrow. But he did message me saying that like, yeah, bro builder, love your stuff, and he's saying hi. There is a question. There's a question from Instagram. I'm just gonna read it out loud here. This is from Three Wilmies. If you were to put your name on a modeling tool, what kind of tool would you pick? And why isn't it Chris Pabs? Oh no!
Pabs isn't a modeling tool. Pabs isn't a modeling tool, but Pabs does make these wonderful Chris Pabs sanding sticks.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. See, he got him ready, as if we practice.
That's my boy. That's my boy, Pabby. There, don't get me wrong. No, but yeah, Pabs makes these. What I would probably do is I'm a file guy. I really like files a lot. I have lots of files, from huge gigantic files to like super duper teeny tiny diamond like precision files.
Nice.
From doing all the work that I've done over the years, and so that's like the tool that I go to all the time. You probably saw a little bit, Ariel, in the early before we were setting up. I was a file.
Yeah, you were filing away there while I'm frantically setting up everything, and I'm looking at this guy all chilling and stuff here.
You got here's the basic little set that just lives on the flat part, and then I got all these, and then there's a whole drawer back there full, and there's a whole roll down on the floor that's also full. Because files are super duper. It's like file discipline is super key. You can do so much helpful stuff with files that save your expensive sanding paper for what it's really needed for.
And just like the final touches kind of deal. But files are key. I was gonna say too, just last couple of questions here before we sign off. What would you say is your top 3 tools you would use or must have use for use?
So I mean, obviously files. Gotta have good files. So you need to have a knife, right? And you need it, but the thing that's more important than having a good knife, a knife that you're comfortable with, is more or less being comfortable with it. That is more important as a tool, is being comfortable with your knife and being able to use it. So I don't use, like some people use like the little teeny Olfa blades, and some people do different things like that. I use a giant honking number 11 X-Acto blade that like wants to do all this bending and this and that. Man. And I will go raw dog on everything fine because I'm super duper comfortable with it. I know exactly what it's going to do, and it's completely predictable for me. So that is like my number 2 thing, is like be comfortable with your tools as a tool. Third dimension.
Cool.
And a 4th dimension. I don't know. We're traveling in time.
You're breaking walls here. You gotta look at the modern. It's like your tool, and then you stop, and then you.
And then another thing I gotta say is reference. So I am known to have books. You guys that know me out there, you're rolling around on the floor going, "Of course he's gonna talk about books." I have a book for that. Is what is gonna be on my tombstone.
Nice.
So people talk about stuff. You should be able to have some reference materials on hand. The more that you can have, the better things that you can draw from, whatever it might be, whether it's just be like an excerpt on industrial engineering and stuff like that, or if it's like styles and times of the, Victorian century, or if you're looking at like pottery techniques versus the collection from the Louvre, or science fiction stuff, and just, it's good to have books. I like books.
Yeah, no, same here. I do collect concept arts as well. Again, from an art background, because like before all of this, before even college, university, and all that stuff, I wanted to be a comic book art illustrator.
Dude, hell yeah,
so so I think like, it was fun, and I learned everything that I need to. But like the whole gig of like freelancing and the market at the time when I was trying to get into it was so competitive and tiring, and it's not something that I want to like slave over. I mean, there are those exceptional artists that really made it through, and I still follow them till this day. Everybody from Eric Postuda to Francis Manipal, I could name a ton of them. And I used to, it's the crazy part, I hang out with these guys before they were all big. Like we would go to conventions, they would have their small tables. And even now when they're in the big conventions, they would still remember me. It's like, hey, how's it going? And be like, as if we were just talking yesterday. So very, the community of artists and having an artist background kind of helped with the modeling. As you would know, being an artist in the background, like everything on that, reference books, materials, tools, etc. It's also a must-have. You don't necessarily use it for every model kit that you do, but it's better to have than not have.
And you're gonna learn. The more you have to draw from, the more you're gonna have to draw from. Essentially, like the more you can put into it, the more you can pull out of it. So
last couple questions here. Let's see. There was one question. Typical question for us would be like, for those new to the hobby, new to the genre of model kit scale modeling, be it Gunpla, Mecha, or whatever, what kind of advice would you give these guys when they're just starting off?
Build what you think looks cool. So the first thing that you build should be something that you're excited to build, because if you're going to try and go off of, someone's going to be like, you're like, hey, whatever it is, like Gump Up Brainchild, what should I build as my first model? And people are going to like, list off, like kits that are going to be really sound models to build. They're going to be like, whether they be economically priced or they go together well or whatever. If it's not, you might take their advice too and buy the model and build and put it together. But if it's not something that you are excited about or that you want to build, you're not going to get the same kind of experience out of it as you would if you just like go from like someone that's super technical or looking at it from like a very rudimentary, like here's the Venn diagram of like where do you want to be and versus
like
where you are.
Wing, sword, gun. That's usually the trifecta that we swing around with Gunpla.
So like that's what I have to say to like new builders is like build something that you're excited to build because you're inherently going to enjoy it, and you're going to learn from it and decide what you want to look at next. That's, in my opinion, that's because I built the 7 sword because I saw a really good review on it. Right. I was like, this one's huge and has a bunch of swords, and got a really good review from one random talking head on the internet.
Sorry, guys. That review was brought to you by me. I was just like, hey, it's pretty cool. Go freaking buy it, man.
No. The guy went through and he made a very compelling argument for it. Oh, okay. And it is a very good kit. But aesthetically, as soon as I built it, it went over there and I didn't look at it.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Same thing.
This is talking from your experience. Like, if this is something you would have heard from when you started, you probably have a different route altogether.
Exactly. Right. And I was like, so hardline against several. I mean, I got the Barbatos because I got excited about Mika kicking the crap out of Carta issue.
Oh yeah.
I saw that scene out of random. I hadn't watched any IBO. I don't think I even really watched much more Gundam than like the 8th MS team and the F91 stuff I saw when I was young.
Right.
And like, so seeing that like as a clip on YouTube, I got like the tinglies. And I was like, let's build that one.
Yeah.
That looks cool. Like, yeah. And so I built that and I was like, oh, that's really, really cool. And then the Zaku competition came up and I was like, well, I don't know about these Zakus, but I guess I'll get one. And I put this together and I was like, this is the greatest thing. I really like this. Hey, honey, I don't care.
Just do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. Leave me alone. Like,
That's awesome.
Getting excited and like really staying excited about what you're working on. That's why I tell people not to shy away from doing multiple projects at once, because it's hard to stay like super duper excited about something that you're building for like 8 or 9 months. Like it's really
you get tired,
hard to
you plateau.
Yeah, man. And it's okay to take a break from your super crazy custom to snap build something that you might not work on again for another couple of years or another couple of months, whatever.
I call them snacks, but like that's exactly.
Dude, right on, palette cleansers or whatever. It's like, gotta like stretch and relax and build something that your brain doesn't have to calculate how it's gonna fit.
Right.
Yeah, it was really tough doing all the Gusian stuff at the end. As soon as I was done with that, because I did nothing but the Gusian the whole time, except for maybe like one thing. And then at the end of it, I like mainlined 3 awesome kits, like the Hammer, the Hazel, and like the Stein or something like that. I like hammered them all within like 5 days.
Right.
Just powered through them all. And it was so fun. But yeah,
and that's cool, and you get excited. You get your energy back. You get excited for your continuing your work or starting a new project. So that's really cool. Speaking of starting new projects, well, first off, thank you, Brian, for doing the show tonight.
My pleasure.
We could talk for days easily. Just so a couple of things. When we were doing the AV test the other day, I was just telling Brian, man, like the energy you have, man, I totally could vibe with this. I love this show so far, Brian. You made it awesome. Lots of stuff to talk, lots of technical stuff. Where can people find you? What are your social media platforms?
You can find me. I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm on YouTube. I stream twice a week regularly, Tuesdays and Thursdays on my own YouTube channel, Bro Builder. The Kodokai Robo Dojo. You saw that at the beginning of my little Kodokai thing. And that comes from the whole Kotobukiya thing. They call me the Kodo Kid. I'm an outlaw. Anyhow,
How old were you there, man? Like 16-year-old, you said, "Hey, what's up?"
No, this was last year. Anyhow. But yeah, so I'm streaming Tuesday, Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Come by, say hi. We're just hanging out, making cool stuff and talking about things, answering questions and being dorks. Talk about movies and video games a lot because those are cool. And then I stream Mechanism on Child of Mecha's channel when that's on every other Friday. I think it'll be on next Friday. We do Critiqual builds with my good man Chris Pabs, and Julio and Z and Kyle, and then a handful of other people too are going to be coming in this year. We had True Gunpla Joel came in and sat in on one of the episodes with us, did a little bit of talking, and we do that.
From I just want to
Dr. Pabs.
Hey Pabs,
we are gonna be having more guest reviewers next and commentators next season. We're also doing a core build off, so we're doing a core Gundam build off with that whole thing, which is going to come up. Next season isn't going to start until probably sometime in November, but stay tuned to the social medias. We'll be talking about that kind of cool stuff. Instagram, Bro Builder, Twitter, @BroBuilder, Bro_Builder for all of those. And then Brian Dencklau on the Facebooks. You can come say hi. I've got a page in there too, like an art page that I do update some things to. It's got more of my old prop stuff if you're interested in that stuff too. And same thing on my Instagram. Like I have 1,000 something posts. Scroll down to the bottom, it gets real cool.
Don't scroll all the way to the bottom, but like look and stop and check out all his work. Every piece of work this guy does is really, really cool. So that's what drew me to your Instagram, man. Like, hang on, I'm buttering you up. Let me butter you up real quick. No, Bro Builder, check him out. All the links that he just mentioned will be on the description of this, and if they're not there, Brian, if you could send it to me, I'll update all the links that way. It's been a fun show. Thank you again for tuning in. And guys at YouTube, just want to say a quick hi to everybody there. Miguel, Mech Dio, Chris, Pabs. I think we had Ronan here jumping in and out. We got Rick Burns. I'm just trying to scroll up. R13. Oh man, there's just so many. I didn't even know how much the conversation was, guys. After talking about food, I'm definitely gonna grab like another slice of pizza or something that has like beef, pork, and everything attached to it. I know, right?
Nice.
Brian, is there any last words you want to say to our fan folks tonight?
Okay, one of my biggest messages that I've had this year, which is kind of weird, is like, don't let anybody else dictate your level of enjoyment for your hobby. It is your hobby, your passion, it's your love. So you love what you love, and that's fine, as long as it's not loving children or something weird. Sorry,
I'm out. Cut the screen. Let's go. Let's go.
No. Seriously though, like, on the real though, like, yeah, seriously, like, don't let anybody dictate or tell you that you can't love what you love or try to do what you want to do. If you want to build the fastest, if you want to be like a speed builder, like, that's awesome. Do it. Train every day. Become the fastest speed builder you can. Saitama, rock that shit. If you want to like go nuts and do like the crazy, gigantic, huge diorama with all this stuff, then that's awesome. Do it. Shoot for the stars. Put your whole heart and soul into it. That's great. If you want to try and get sponsored by one of these companies that support builders and stuff like that, then that's great to work towards. Definitely do it, because it's something that you enjoy and it brings you like the value that is supposed to be drawn from this hobby, from this passion that we all share. So like, that's what I gotta say to you guys, is like, just enjoy it. Enjoy the hobby for yourself, and do your best to love every day. You know, don't do things you don't like.
Good words. Awesome, Brian. Thank you. I mean, stick around after the show, and we will talk a little bit more just post that. But say bye to everybody. Brian, thank you. We'll see you next time. All right. So, guys, that was Brian, Bro Builder. What an amazing bro. Man, what a professional. That was so bro-rific. I'm running out of bro words, to be honest. But that was a bro-tastic show. Thank you, guys. Shout out to everybody that's joining us over at Facebook Live and YouTube Live. You guys made this show very enjoyable. I think we broke a new record again with Bro Builder here. 2 hours and 30 minutes stream. Yes. This guy's just breaking hearts, breaking records, and winning everywhere, man. Give it up to him. Don't forget to check out on his social media. Comments, the descriptions are all in the links below. All the links are in the description below. More links to come as we edit them with additional information. Don't forget that AO Mecha Live streams Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, like today, 9 p.m. EST. Mondays and Wednesdays are the backlog builder episodes, and this week coming up, this Monday coming up, we're continuing on with the IBO theme, so stick around to check out what I'm going to be building that show. This show is powered by USA Gundam Store. Don't forget to check those fine folks out, www.usagundamstore.com, and save with my discount code AOMecha10. All right, thank you guys for streaming, guys. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Until next time. Whoa. There's Crystal. I keep pressing the wrong button, guys. I was supposed to press this button to say goodbye. See ya. Have a good night.